Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome to the Indie Games podcast. We are back with the indie games goodness that we love to deliver. It's awesome to be back again, bringing some indie goodness into your life with so much on the horizon from the indie scene too. Today I'm super excited to have an awesome lineup of guys joining me to chat some indie games, and we have got a lot to get into, but yeah, I just want to firstly say thank you so much to everybody who has joined us in the chat. You are all legendary and it's always fantastic to see your faces. Thank you so much all for being here. Yes, as I say, we're going to do things a little bit different this time. We are going to dive into maybe a few less topics, but maybe going a bit more depth to them. So yeah, we're going to be tackling the Future Games Show, which is upcoming on the 26th, and we're also going to be diving into the Idea Xbox Showcase that was recently announced, which will be taking place on the 26th of this month. I think I said Future Games Show was 25th, didn't I? So yeah, that's 25th and 26th respectively. But yeah, both of those are going to be bringing some great indie goodness into our lives, so I'm really excited to be talking about that with all the guys we've got on the show today. Unfortunately, Fastback is not going to be joining us today, so if you see his name on the screen you're confused for that reason, then it's unfortunately because he's had to pull out at the last minute because he's not feeling too well. So we wish you well, brother, and hope you feel better soon. But yeah, like I say, we've got a great replacement for Fastback today, and may as well just dive straight into these intros right now. First up, our replacement for Fastback today, and an awesome guy in the community who I love chatting all kinds of games with, especially indie games, of course. And someone who I've spoken to about one of my dear loves of a game. Many people know this already. A lot of love for the old Hollow Knight, but this guy's been playing it recently and enjoying, I do believe. But yeah, but just generally, it's a great honor to have someone who's a real community favorite on the channel. In the community on the channel today. And someone who is, a great supporter of a lot of podcasts, but now is breaking out into the podcast world himself. And I think this might be his second podcast appearance. So I'm absolutely honored that he will be joining us. And his name is Meisuko. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing great, guys. And thank you again inviting me to the podcast. And yeah, it's great. I have been doing all sorts of shenanigans with Hollow Knight.
Shenanigans.
I just like to talk about it.
Love it. Painting as well, my friend. I've noticed. Very nice.
Yes. I have tried to find my inner creative self,
including your avatar, which you are sporting today, which is your self-portrait, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Very good.
I joined this kind of art Discord, so they were
nice.
Asking for a self-portrait, so did that one first time ever.
Very good. That's really cool, actually. I really like it, and I've obviously enjoyed your Hollow Knight paintings too, of course. And yeah, it's great to see. It's a great outlet of the old art. I wish I could paint like you can. I wish I could do that, but that's not one of the areas of artistic expression that I am any good in and in any way, unfortunately. But yeah, no.
But luckily you are excellent in podcasting and video creation.
You are too kind, my friend. I'm not sure about the podcasting, maybe slightly better in the video creation, but I try and get by and have some fun with it. But thank you so much for the kind words on that. It's very kind of you, buddy. Have you been playing anything recently? Anything juicy you've been playing other than, like you said, Hollow Knight, but you've been playing anything more recently than that?
Yeah, unfortunately, work has been horrible this week. Absolutely horrible. So what I have played has been little of Slay the Spire.
Oh, very nice.
That was recommended by the Goat Gamer.
Goat Force Gaming,
so,
yeah.
Nice. Goat Force Gaming, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. You're calling him the Goat now.
Shout out to him. Yeah.
Exactly, I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, it's like he's a big fan of roguelites. So
yes, he is indeed.
I have been trying to also get into those games and see what's they all about and how they are this kind of infinite loop, so to say.
It's very interesting. They are, very interesting games, actually, the roguelike games, definitely. Some people sort of like get put off by them, don't they? But yeah, they are actually, there is a lot, you can get a lot of time out of them as well, is one big thing. You can get hundreds of hours out of a good roguelike, which is awesome. But yeah, that's cool. So you're enjoying that. Is that a turn-based game? I think it is it?
Yes, it's turn-based, and I would say the runs are pretty quick, and so it's like you don't feel that you are investing too much time, so you can jump in and do quick run, and that's it.
Very nice. Yeah, that's great, and that sounds good. I have always had my little eye on that, but I don't tend to dive into much turn-based stuff, if I'm completely honest. I tried Star Renegades because I thought it looked awesome, but then I could not get on with it really. It's turn-based. I mean, the one time I did get on with turn-based a little bit was Chris Tales, the upcoming game, which looks really cool. I actually didn't mind the turn-based action in that too much, but yeah, this turn-based is not usually my style, I have to say, but yeah, cool, good. I mean, I can see what, it looks awesome, that game, for sure. So yeah, well, thanks again for coming on though, Meisuke. It really is a great pleasure to have you. Good stuff. And moving on from there, I'm going to go down the order and then come back up a little bit. So moving on from there, we've got our returning partner in crime, as always, on the show today, who is just fresh off of a awesome win at the Halo tournament with his partner in crime, who's come on the show with him today, which is Scott. But yeah, like I say, it's always a pleasure to be able to do this podcast with you, my friend Puxley, and just really looking forward to diving into these topics and hearing your takes on them, as always. So thanks so much for being a part of this one again, Puxley, and how are you doing, brother?
Thank you very much. I really love doing these shows. Always appreciate the invites. I say, yes, you've got two of the GPG crew tonight. We thought we was going to be a bit late originally, but we've managed to make it on time, which is good fun.
Yes, indeed. Because you're so damn good at Halo. That's why you've cleaned up.
The thing is, when, Flap and I, we don't consider ourselves that great. We've been putting a lot of hours in our spare time just to try and get a little bit better. I would argue it's a lot of Luke and Scott, which help drive the team, but yeah, we're very impressed with the win today. I can't believe we're actually into the finals. So that's going to be an interesting game next week, I think.
Most definitely. That is going to be a tough one for both, be a tight game, I'm sure of that, because both of you guys are awesome. Yeah, but you've worked really well as a team on Halo, so that's what I think is one of your biggest strengths, actually. You come together really well and communicate and everything, and that's the key, isn't it? So, but yeah, have you been playing much on the indie scene or any other scene? I know you've been Halo-focused trying to win that tournament, but have you been playing much indie games lately, my friend?
You know what? I have, actually.
Oh, you're a legend.
So yesterday, I was going through my kind of Xbox download list just to kind of see what can I get rid of, and then just to make some space, because most of these I've finished. But then Call of the Sea was on there, and I realised that I never actually got any further than Chapter 1. So nice. I started playing that, thinking, I'll give it a bit of a go, and then I got hooked into the story more. I forgot how almost quite slow the story is at the very beginning, and then once I got to the end of Chapter 2, it was like, oh, hold on a minute, what's going on here? So then driven to try and complete it and get further, and then I managed to finish it all in one run. Effectively.
Oh wow, nice!
Really enjoyed the game.
Awesome. Does it get a little bit darker into the game without really any sort of spoilers, or is there any? I
wouldn't say darker. It gets a bit the mystery kind of drives you more. Yeah. It gets a bit out there. Because it's definitely a bit of a fantasy game.
Is it like a H.P. Lovecraft inspired? Is that
exactly? It's exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so you're going through and you kind of realize these small elements which happen, and then you've obviously got the architecture and the puzzles that you do, and they reveal more secrets. And I just got really hooked on it. I really enjoyed it. And then some of the other mechanics open up as you get into the later chapters, and then the conclusion of the game I found pretty interesting. Actually, I really enjoyed it.
Awesome stuff, buddy. That is fantastic. I need to get into that game. I haven't actually played it yet because just haven't got around to it. So many games, you know what I
mean? My one complaint with it though is the walk speed.
I have noticed that. Yeah, I noticed that about it.
I appreciate the developers are probably going for, the character isn't like a heroine, so to speak. She's just a woman that you're kind of portraying as part of the story. Yeah, but it's kind of gameplay from a gameplay perspective. The sprint speed for me should be the default walk speed, and then you should be able to run a little bit faster.
Right.
That's kind of what drew me out of it originally at the start, throughout Chapter 1, which is why I put it down. But once I got over that, I really enjoyed the story. And if it grips you enough, I urge all of you out there, if you haven't played it, give it a go and get through that first chapter or two, and then hopefully the story will drive you in.
Awesome. That is awesome, my friend. Yeah, no, it does look great. And when I saw, I think it was Mav streaming it, I noticed the walk speed was very slow on it, but the puzzles look pretty intricate, which is pretty cool. But the environments look amazing as well, and I do love that H.P. Lovecraft aspect to it personally.
Definitely.
Awesome stuff. Well, thanks again for coming back on, Puxley. Like I say, always a pleasure chatting with you. It's an honour to be able to do it with you this show. Thank you so much. And moving on from there, we have, as I say, a partner in crime of Puxley on the Green Pass Gaming. Someone I always love checking out alongside alongside all those Green Pass Gaming guys. I love them all, to be honest with you. But this guy, I think he's rising up a little bit recently. He's coming up in the ranks. He's taken on a show on his own on Green Pass Gaming the other day, which I was very impressed by. And yeah, I think he's an up-and-coming star of the community. So I'm looking forward to seeing all he has in store going forward. And it's an honor to have him on the show today to chat some indie games. How is it going, Scott, bro?
It's going very, very well. Thank you very much, Indy. You are far too kind.
Never.
You really are. So it's great to be on. First appearance on the show. I'm really looking forward to chatting indie games with you. It's funny, the guys mentioned the games that they've been playing there actually. So Call of the Sea Pucks. I don't know if you remember the first time you sprinted in that game, but you're walking and then it tells you right now you can sprint by pressing this button. And you press the button and your first reaction is that it? Like, really, is that it?
That's a reaction like, really? This is it?
The difference between walking and sprinting in that game is minuscule. Yeah. It's ridiculous. So
maybe that's really. Oh, sorry, I cut you off there. That's for I'm more than happy to have you, my friend. Stubbs is saying that your mic is a little bit low. I don't know if there's anything you can do, but you might be able to push it in the Discord, or I can maybe push you as well if you can't. But yeah, honor to have you, my friend. Honestly, I think highly of you, and really always enjoy your takes. So thank you very much for coming on. And yeah, you've been playing much. If it's not indie, do not worry. But if it is, you get an extra brownie point.
Yeah, funny you ask. Actually, I've actually also been playing Slay the Spire, just like
really?
Actually.
Nice.
So yeah, it's actually. The reason I've been playing it so much recently is mainly because it's also available on xCloud, and because it's sort of turn-based, it's really easy to play either streaming to my laptop when the missus is watching the TV, or on my phone when I'm in bed. So I've been playing that recently. It's been on my list to play for a long time now, but I've been really just interested in checking that out. It's not a genre I play an awful lot. But that turn-based, card-based combat is actually something that really clicks with me as well.
That's right. It's a deck builder style game, isn't it? Like, so yeah, I don't. That's why it's kind of foreign to me, like turn-based and the deck building thing. It's just it's good that it's in Game Pass though, because that's the kind of game people might not usually check out, and like you're checking it out. So yeah, and you're actually enjoying it. Are you finding it? You're actually quite getting into it. Are you?
Yeah, definitely. I'm probably a couple of hours in now, and like I said, roguelikes aren't typically games that I'll play an awful lot, but I think the combat side of this is what is keeping me involved. So looking forward to playing a little bit more.
Nice.
Beyond that, I've been playing a little bit of Hitman. I know it's not indie. Well, I guess kind of.
You could argue that one. Definitely, you could definitely argue that one. Yeah.
Playing a little bit of Hitman as well, so been enjoying that.
And one other game I noticed you're playing, Rocket League. Although that's often a hard one to say is indie anymore either. So, but Rocket League, I know you play a lot of.
Yeah, I guess I do play a lot of multiplayer games.
I do spy on people, I've got a problem.
No, Indy, it's good to know. I'm going to have to start appearing offline just to make sure I'm a habit on being watched.
Exactly, yeah. Love it, my friend. Well, thanks again for coming on, bro. It's awesome to have you, and I'm looking forward to chatting more. That's my pleasure. And finally, and definitely last but not least, someone who is a bit of a legend in the community, in my opinion, host of a damn awesome podcast, the Xbox Expansion Pass. If you haven't checked out that already, I highly recommend you do. It's on Spotify, iTunes, everywhere you can imagine. There's a link in the description below to find that if you haven't checked it out already. But he's also brought a YouTube channel to the mix recently too, with the podcast on there. But like I say, I always I've really kind of looked up to Luke in a way, because his podcast is proper top-notch professional stuff, and I love what he brings. He's a big fan of indie games as well, I've noticed, which is awesome. Obviously, I love that. But yeah, honor to have Luke Law, aka the Insipid Ghost, on the show today. Thank you so much for coming on, Luke. How are you doing, bro?
I am fantastic. That was quite the intro, and you said you look up to me. Dude, I look up to you. So I'm thrilled to be here, chat games with you guys. I love games of all types, but I do have a special place in my heart for indies as well. So this is a bucket list item for me to get to join you guys. So thank you.
Oh, awesome, bro. Well, absolute pleasure. You know, my bucket list is ticked for that one. But yeah, really looking forward to your takes on today, because I know you are quite focused. I know you, in your podcast, you say you focus on Xbox, but you do cover other areas as it pertains to the Xbox ecosystem. I have been listening closely. So you do cover every.
Exactly.
Did you like that? Did you like that?
I did. But that's the thing, man. Xbox is my beat.
Yeah.
But I so enjoy hearing how news and other platforms might change or impact the world of Xbox. And I do, of course, play on every system. And so
yes.
I'm also thrilled to hear that you guys are enjoying xCloud. That's a really cool thing to get to play Slay the Spire in your bed just because somebody's occupying another spot, another screen, and you have that option. That's just so cool to hear. And what a great thing for developers to know that their games can be accessed in even more ways now.
Absolutely, yeah, no, that's so true, my friend. As you know, we can access games from pretty much anywhere now, which is awesome, and yeah, really opens things up massively. So yeah, definitely. But yeah, thanks so much for coming on. And have you been playing much recently? Any indie games on the scene? Otherwise, no worries. Anything you've been playing that stood out to you recently?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've been playing quite a bit, but in the indie space, I just checked out the Vicious Attack Llama Apocalypse, which is the Games with Gold for this month.
Oh, nice.
And that is a weird and funny twin stick shooter, and I'm a big fan of twin sticks.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, and it's a reasonably good game, but really my time has been occupied by two indie games. Anger Force Reloaded, which is a vertical shooter.
Nice.
I got it on sale. I often graze the deals with gold every week to try to get games at a good price and support developers. And
awesome.
Anger Force Reloaded, great vertical shooter. And then one that's just been in my mind lately, and I've been playing it nonstop, is a game called Xenocrisis over on
I've played
Game
that.
Pass,
Yeah, that's good. It's good retro. Yeah, you love your retro a little bit, I would say. Then you you like your. I've noticed you like quite a few twin stick shooters, which I love as well. Personally, really like twin sticks. Like Runa, that's a great game if you haven't checked that out before, which is a Devolver game. I highly recommend, like cyberpunk style one. But yeah, I noticed you've had a few developers on who are twin stick shooter style developers on your show, which is awesome. That's another great thing. If you, like I say, guys, you know, definitely get some great guests on your show, like some really cool guests. That's what I love about your show so much, and the way you interview them as well. Of course, it's not just getting the guests, it's then getting some good info out of them, you know what I mean? But yeah, no,
thank you.
No, my pleasure, buddy. Yeah, so I really enjoy what you do, and yeah, like I say, thanks again for being on, and I'm really looking forward to what you bring and what today, like chatting about all this good stuff that we've got to look forward to, and equally everyone else as well who's on the show. Thanks so much, all of you guys, for being on. And I just want to quickly move on and shout out some of these awesome people that are in the chat, because you are legends and you make this show come to life. It's a cliche, but it's so true. It's nothing without you guys, so thank you so much for being here. I'm seeing one person in there who I've been enjoying a lot lately, their content, that is. Not the person. That sounds odd, but yeah, Backstage, awesome to see you in. If you haven't checked out Backstage, the YouTube channel Backstage, they're a great guy, and I think it's just the one guy. It might be a team, but yeah, they've been doing a lot of interviews with devs as well. Recently, I checked out today their interview with Luis Antonio, I believe the name is, and he's the developer of 12 Minutes. I actually think that Luke Law might have interviewed him as well. Is that correct, Luke? Just quickly.
Yeah, I did. What a great get. That's like such a cool guy. That's amazing. Backstage. I will put that on my radar, because I interviewed him when he was just fresh off of the E3 spotlight at the Xbox showcase, and several months removed from that. But 12 Minutes has come along so far since then, that I am thrilled to be able to hear that, and I will absolutely check that interview out, because what a great guy he is.
Most definitely, my friend. Yeah, I loved that interview that they did on, you know, Backstage. I loved, you know, when you covered it as well, was awesome as well. But it's fresh in my mind from today. Such a cool guy. I don't mean to sound weird, but like I wondered whether he wouldn't be that cool, because he's quite an arty kind of guy, and I thought he might be standoffish a little bit. But actually, he's lovely and really open, and I love his thought process behind how he works and everything, and everything that's brought him up to this point with 12 minutes, which is going to be awesome. And I think it's not going to be far away, but we will be getting into that in just a moment, I reckon. But yeah, shout out to Backstage as once again. Thank you for coming in, my friend. Really good to see you. And Cybernox, my very good friend, my brother. How are you doing, Cybernox? Great to see you in, my friend. VJ is in the house, another great friend of mine. Thank you very much for being here, VJ. Judzilla, you're all great friends of mine. You're all legends. Thank you all so much for being here. Judzilla, the Dazanator, my main man. Da Blue, one is in the house. Back from the Dead, one is in the house. Stubbs Gaming is in the house. Cybergunter is in. How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Fun Speculation, Mav is in the house. How are you doing, Mav? Good to see you. Great show last night. And I know you said SX2 then, but you're already on the show. Mike is in the house too. How are you doing, Mike from NLG? Thank you so much for being here, my bro. Flap is in. Congratulations to you once again. The Green Pass Gaming crew. Done amazing win there, guys. Congratulations. Exports Jesus, it's awesome to see you, buddy. I hope you're feeling good, feeling great, and look forward to maybe getting you back on the show again sometime, Xbox Jesus, because you were great before. Jubei Sensei, once again, same goes for you, my friend. Awesome to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And yes, and Smokeback Official is back in the house. Thank you very much for coming back Smokeback. It's always good to see you here. And Caitlin is in the house too. Great show last night, Caitlin. It was maybe one of your more off the cuff style shows, which was damn funny, and it was a great show. I think there was maybe a little bit of alcohol induced action going on there last night, but it was so funny and awesome. But thank you so much for all being here. You're all amazing. So let's go ahead and dive into this basically our podcast, essentially dive into some of this juicy goodness, what we got for you. So yeah, I think what we're going to go in for first is we're going to tackle the Idea Xbox Indie Showcase, which was recently announced to be coming on the 26th of March. I'm going to slide on over to that quickly now, guys. So yeah, like I say, it was announced for the 26th of March. It's going to be on Twitch Gaming, which is quite an interesting team up, which that's not necessarily something they've done before, but it's maybe a good move. One thing I would say about this thumbnail which they've released, I'm not sure about the branding. That's not to start with a negative or anything, but yeah, usually the Idea Xbox branding is really cool. I'm not sure whether this branding is. It looks a bit amateur in my opinion. Sorry to say it. I shouldn't start on a negative, but I'm not sure where that's going. Hopefully the Idea Xbox branding is still intact because I do really love the Idea Xbox branding. But anyways, yeah, so we recently got an announcement. There's going to be over 100 games, 100 indie games. So that's a pretty damn lot of games. And I think they're going to be focusing specifically on 25, perhaps maybe with more focused in dives. So maybe the 100 is essentially a bunch of sizzle reels that are going to go quicker. That's a lot of games. So I'm wondering how it's going to go, how long the event will be as well. But I'm hearing that it will be like a game showcase style thing. So kind of similar, that it's sort of like a future game show where it's kind of quite packed and fast paced, which is pretty cool. But they will have some Twitch streamers talking in between and stuff like that. So hopefully that won't be too corny and it'll be all good. But yeah, I think there's going to be a ton of great games featured because they have confirmed one great game which I made a video on very recently, which was the Ascent, which is awesome. And just in this image before our eyes, you've got 12 minutes on there, which is pretty damn cool. You've also got next to that XO1, you've got Narita Boy on the bottom right, you've got Second Extinction above that, and then the final one is I forget the name of it, something Train, I believe, which I haven't looked into as much. But yeah, those are games that are confirmed. But I do know of one game that is confirmed too, which is not been announced. I shouldn't keep saying that. I'd sound like a boy who's like, hey, look at me. But anyways, I know the reason I say that is because it's one damn good game that a lot of people are going to love to see a little follow-up from that game. So yeah, let's move on from that because I won't go into it in too much detail. But I want to pass this around. I want to just keep this a bit more flexible, guys. Maybe having a chat about this. Just talk about some Idea Xbox games. Any games that you are hoping to see, sort of thing, from this event. And let's just throw it around and have a casual conversation about some Idea Xbox goodness. If you feel free to go off kilter as well. But what are you hoping to see from this Idea Xbox event? Any games in particular that you're hoping to see? I'll bring some videos up on the screen as well of some Idea Xbox games that have previously been announced through the Xbox marketing sort of Idea Xbox system, essentially. So I'll flash some of that up on the screen as well. But I'm going to pass it straight over to let's pass this straight to Luke Law, if that's okay. And is there any sort of games you're looking forward to seeing or hoping to see from this Idea Xbox event on the 26th, my friend?
You actually touched on the ones that I am interested in, and oftentimes with indie games, I find that I don't know I'm interested until the showcase, and it's then that I realize, oh, this one's for me, this one might not be. But Second Extinction is one that I've had my eyes on since it was first shown at a showcase, and I am ecstatic to find out when and in what ways it's going to be coming to console and to the Xbox ecosystem. Right now, I believe it's in early access over on the PC space.
Yes.
As a primary console gamer, yeah, I'm very curious to hear how they're going to bring that to console. Is it going to be early access? Is it going to be full launch? If and when. I love myself a good co-op shooter. I love shooting, or I love the arcadiness that it seems to look. It seems to capture a lot of the spirit of Left 4 Dead. And with the summer that's full of the actual spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead and the new Aliens game, I hope that Second Extinction is sooner rather than later, because I worry it will be drowned out in the console space. But beyond Second Extinction, the Ascent and Stalker 2 both have my eyes for pretty obvious reasons. They've been showcased on Xbox platforms, or rather in Xbox-specific content quite a bit, and then they went dark in favor of the console launch. But last summer, we saw a good amount of them, and I would really like to know more about Stalker 2 specifically, because I feel we know a lot about the Ascent. But with Stalker 2, there's a lot of mystery for me. I'm aware that people are excited about it. I'm aware that the name Stalker means something to quite a few people, but it doesn't to me, other than the game looked really cool. So I'm anxious to find out more about it. And again, when it comes to indie titles, I often don't know I love it until I either go hands-on or see it at a showcase like this.
Yeah.
So that's why my eyes are onto this one. And I have mixed feelings on how well Xbox themselves promotes indie games. I have very mixed feelings on it.
Yeah.
But when you can say we're partnering with Twitch and we've got 100 games to show off, that's a good headline to have in a month where they've been throwing blows back and forth with Sony competing for headlines, and I've really enjoyed it because all of it amounts to us as gamers getting to play cooler and more stuff. So I'm interested to see where this one goes for sure.
Definitely, bro. Nice. Yeah, I mean, there has been obviously like a lot on the Ascent recently. They have been hotting up a lot on the social media aspect. Like they've been every day, like I said in my video, they've been every day posting about. Every day there's like a GIF or there's like a screenshot or something. So, like you say, they have been quite. We do know quite a lot about the Ascent, which is awesome. And yeah, personally, I think there's a good chance it's already confirmed that we will be seeing it. I personally think there's a good chance we could well be seeing a release date trailer for that one, which I would absolutely love. It would be so cool. But yeah, so you sort of feel like you kind of feel like it's until you sort of see. You don't know if you love them until you see them with indies kind of thing in your perspective. With regards to the marketing side of things then, I mean, do you think the Twitch move is a good move? Just to come back to you once more, if that's all right. Do you feel like Twitch going with the Twitch is a good Twitch gaming sort of vibe is a good move for them to get those indies out into more people's line of sight, essentially?
Yes, absolutely. 100% they should be doing everything they can to partner with Twitch and help continue to get their name out there, working with streamers to make their content known and to spotlight these developers, because that only builds goodwill, particularly when you're filling out subscription services as they are doing with Game Pass. Twitch gaming is something that I only have tangential knowledge of and very little interest in, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
However, it's growing by leaps and bounds, and with the demise of Mixer and the technology jumping into Facebook, which nobody seems to care about any longer, why wouldn't you do that, right?
Yep.
I mean, they couldn't have gotten rid of Mixer faster. once they made that decision. And so I'm very glad to see them working with Twitch. I'm curious to know who cares about the streamer content within there. And that sounds flippant. I mean it sincerely. I'm very curious to know what audiences are going to be engaged because of X or Y streamer, and will that streamer help put X or Y developer or indie game on the map? Because that is oftentimes how indie games live and breathe, is by one or two big names putting a spotlight on it, and then from there they grow organically. And we've seen that happen to smaller titles, or when a company puts their faith in it. I'm thinking of like Fall Guys from or over on the Sony side. Like, it's a good example of that working out very well.
Absolutely.
And I'm in general just encouraged to see that there's an event. You know, this is a good event. We can set expectations. The word indie isn't a cuss word in the spotlight space, and so I'm thrilled to see we're getting this. I have no idea how future game show will exist alongside it, if it even needs to worry. But I'm thrilled to see Xbox and Twitch Gaming working together to bring more attention to games like this.
Most definitely, yeah. It's always a good thing, isn't it? Getting the indies into the spotlight for sure. No, well said, buddy. So yeah, let's move this one over to Puxley next, if that's all right. Is there anything you kind of like hoping to see from this event, Puxley? And do you think the Twitch gaming thing's a good move as well? Is there any games you've been craving for so long that you just need it, my man?
Oh man, definitely. I think you know which one this is, but
yeah, I think I do.
Really want to see more information on Tunic as well, because I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago at E3 actually got it got its E3 spotlight for the first time, which I was really pleased to see. But then since then, it's kind of dropped off the radar a bit. I mean, I understand it's primarily just a one-man band, so I think we've got to appreciate that it takes a long time. It's a lot of effort and resources to build a game of that scope on your own. But even so, it's kind of been radio silent for a long time now, to the point where I'm hoping we do see something. And seeing as I don't think he's officially partnered up with Xbox, but seeing as we saw it at E3 a couple of years ago, I'd like to believe that it's got an Xbox priority. So the new ID Xbox show next week, in the near future, I think it's the perfect opportunity to at least finally get an update for it.
Yeah,
it's
so
the one thing I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, we had the small update of the interview, didn't we, with like IGN, which we both read. But that's not a new trailer or something. That's what we could do, isn't it? I mean, do you think what's your sort of idea? Do you think it's still a long way out? Do you think it's coming close? I know it's probably hard just to pull that out of the air, but like, what would you say? Do you think we're on the year that it's going to release, or?
I'd like to think if it's not this year, I'd like it to be by early mid next year at the latest.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's been in development for so long now, and I can't help but maybe think that, has the scope of the game been made to increase because of the increased publicity around it as well? Similar to Cuphead. I mean, because Cuphead was only meant to be a really small game, which was shown off at one of the indie fairs a couple of years ago, and I think it got so much publicity they realized then that they couldn't release the game under their original vision. They felt that they had to expand it, hence why it got delayed an extra 2-3 years. And then obviously Cuphead was the game that it is, and we all love it. So so maybe if the same dev feels that way and has maybe got that impression from people, then maybe in the long term it's worth it. It's just a shame from people that have been following it for so long, like ourselves. So, again, we've been following it, I believe, since before it got renamed from Secret Legends.
Yeah, right? That's right. Yeah, I have. Yeah, as well.
So it's been a long time coming. So I just hope that it does stick to the original hype as well as deliver overall. I think
that happens a lot, though. That interview actually that I was talking about a little while ago about with Luis Antonio backstage. It was quite interesting because he was talking about how his game. The reason it's taken so long is because 12 minutes has taken so long. You probably noticed that it was originally announced in 2015, I think, or something like that. And it's gone through these sort of like iterations where he's just like, actually, we need to take it to that other level. And he's done different things to it. Like you said, maybe the hype around it has sort of made me think maybe we can do that. It's very interesting how it all works. And often, indie developers, they don't start out as just going, right, I'm going to quit my job in like working for a AAA or whatever, like as a animator or whatever it is. And they often will carry on for a little bit and then try, maybe work a little bit on the side or whatever, or on the side of doing other sort of like outsourced sort, like doing not outsourced freelancing for other companies or whatever. So they won't just be exclusively working on the game always like full time. I don't think because otherwise it's, how can they finance themselves for like say 6 years or whatever without anything coming in, I would say. But yeah, so there's so many other things which come into it. But yeah, like when we're waiting, we're just like, where's the damn game? You know what I mean? We want the game.
Yeah. But you made a good point there about, a number of developers have this feeling of, they've got more publicity. Then the expectation grows from the public who, again, rightly so. Most of people don't need to understand how the dev side works. They just know that a game is being made by a small team, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel that maybe publicity from an indie dev point of view almost feels like a double-edged sword, because you want the publicity because, especially if you're doing it solo, or up to 5 of you at least, like really small groups, as you say, mainly doing it in your spare time to start with. You're doing your day job, doing it in evenings and weekends. And then, if you're lucky enough to maybe pour an angel investor or something, then great, you can then work on it full time, but then you've also got that responsibility there.
Yeah, exactly.
But then it's almost like, right, I had this vision to keep a small scope game that I want to release to people and I want them to buy it and play it and help feed my future ambition to be an indie dev full time. Fantastic.
Exactly.
And then, as you say, then it goes under the spotlight full bore, right? It's gone from 0 to 100, and people then go, oh, Jesus, I've actually got to make something that impresses everyone now. And I think it's almost it's a shame in a way, but it's good. There's a lot of examples of people who don't necessarily meet that expectation, but then it makes you wonder, like, who's at fault there if there was anyone to blame. Is it the media that may be over publicizing an indie title, or was it over pressed? Was it over delivered? It's hard to tell. So I'm hoping that games like Tunic don't fall under that same caveat.
Yeah, it's kind of like a double-edged sword or something, isn't it? I mean, I don't think it is. I don't think you can over advertise it. I think it's great to have it on that big stage at E3, which obviously is what happened to 12 Minutes and other games as well. I love that. I love seeing the full trailer being shown alongside these other big games. That is so cool. So yeah, I'm definitely fully behind that. And I think at the end, people might hate me for this, but I think it's gamers' fault. I'm sorry. I think
I agree with you there, though.
Yeah.
I think, again, it's not.
Sorry,
you have to blame the gamer, because it's the people who just want to play the game that are quickest and the easiest to start trashing something they immediately don't like the look of.
Yep.
If you get what I mean, right?
Definitely.
But a lot of indie projects, as you're well aware of, are a labour of love. People aren't just making a game to make a quick buck. They're making it because not only do they want to maybe get into the industry and make a title, but they want to make something that they feel strongly about. They believe in it. They're not just cracking out cheap Call of Duty clones to make a quick buck, because they're not going to sell. People are pushing on their own own stories, their own gameplay loops, the simple mechanics, but then expanding on that. But
most definite. Most definitely. No, it's so true. It's kind of like because it actually pains me quite a bit when I'm seeing it on Twitter, and I don't know how much you've been paying attention to the Ascent on Twitter, but like I can't believe every comment is like release date, just question mark, release date. You know what I mean? Like just like, come on, guys, just leave them alone. Like, for God's sakes, like it's rude.
That's what I mean. It's kind of that balance between yes, you want it, we want it, but it's a small team. You have to appreciate that it takes time, man.
I just find it so rude, man. I feel like replying to some of these people just put like release date question mark, like, and whatever. Like, I mean, fair enough if you're excited for the game. Yeah, exactly. It's really cool. The Ascent Twitter as well. It's kind of like they play because it's like a sort of like futuristic world. The Ascent, their Twitter is kind of like pretending to be a bot, if you know what I mean. So it's kind of fun. They have a bit of fun with it. So they're like, we have filed that in the delete section or something. You know what I mean? That's the response or whatever.
Yeah. The only other thing I do think of, though, but do you reckon that there is such a thing as maybe too long? Because again, I think we can all appreciate that games are ready when they're ready. They'll be released, and when the developer says it's ready, then we can all just hope that it's going to be the best experience that we was expecting. But then, is there such a thing as too long? I would argue that maybe there is, because it's only so long I think people are going to follow a title before they would then just fall by the wayside. And then maybe after some time it has a resurgence, but then maybe not as much traction because people have maybe moved on. Do you reckon that's a thing?
I'll jump in on that one.
Jump in, right. Yeah, definitely.
I absolutely think that happens to plenty of games, and I'm hard-pressed to think of an example in the moment, but I do think that is the case. I also think that's the case for a lot of developers in their mindset. One of the things I've noticed in my time listening to interviews and conducting a few is that if you ask an artist when the art is done, very few of them can ever say that it actually is. Many people would like to go back and keep tinkering and make it perfect, and it could be that labor of love could last indefinitely. And it's a difficult thing to put into the right words, but there is something to the intangibility of pressures and financial pressures to actually release the game, and that puts people under the gun, forces them to make peace with certain aspects of their game and there's a financial reality of, if we don't release or we don't work on a side project, we don't eat. And it can be you hear all types of awful stories about that, and that's never what you want to hear. But in some cases, if an artist or a creator is languishing, the pressure to put something out might be a beneficial thing, because it might be that what they are making is genuinely incredible and they are their own worst critic. That's just there's an element to that does happen, I think.
Procrastination, isn't it? Over their own art
too. Some people just barf out things, and then that damages the medium as well.
Yeah, no, definitely a great point. Anyone else wanted to pitch in on that particular point, guys, or you?
I just had a quick thing I would like to add, actually, just because I really like that point, that take. That's really good. But one of the things that came to mind as you were speaking there, Luke, was a good example I find of, because you hear you don't hear too much of it, but you have the idea of episodic releases. I mean, mainly for bigger titles, but some smaller titles have done it and tried it. And a lot of people kind of irk and groan at the thought of, I can't get the full game straight away. But I think a game that really did benefit from releasing episodically was Bendy and the Ink Machine. Now, I absolutely love that franchise and series, and it's grown big enough that they now have like plushies and all sorts of in stores, But that started as just a small demo of barely an episode 1. And then I went back to it relatively recently, a few weeks ago on PC. And even though all 5 episodes have now been released for a long time now, they've gone back and they've revamped it even more. Like, it's the same story, the same go from A to B and do the same objectives, but they've just changed these small things in like future updates that you still get the same experience, but it's just better. So I do wonder if, do indie devs maybe need to consider, and I mean, I know it depends on the type of game. I'm not saying it's for all indies should consider this, but maybe an episodic release is maybe a good alternative to then, trying to make the game perfect and spending maybe too long on it.
That's a good point. and it makes me even think in some ways, and this is not a one-to-one comparison, but it makes me think of Shovel Knight. And the game I purchased in 2014 on my Vita is now, it still exists in perpetuity, but now there are what you might consider episodes and full campaigns of all the other characters, all included in the Shovel Knight Treasure Trove pack. And to some perspectives, that might be considered a version of what you're talking about, though it is not one-to-one. But I like the thinking there. That's really neat.
Yeah,
sorry, Andy, we kind of went a bit off topic, I think. But...
No, that's what I want to do today, actually. So I'm really glad you did, because I just want to go off on branches if that's cool. So if feel free to diverge onto any branch you like. It's all good. So keep it more like on a small, like less topics, but branching. We love it.
Yeah, I had a small thing I wanted to say, like this Double Fine studios that Xbox acquired. So I think they are this kind of creative studio, but they also get a lot of done, and they have these game dev jams where they make these really small
have the devs,
games.
Yeah.
So I think that sometimes you just have to let it go, because you might have a great idea, but there is just so much that you can, so to say, flesh out the idea. Like, let's say it can be a simple game. Not everything has to be a grand game. You can just have the great idea and make a great small game. Like, or at least that's how I feel it.
Yeah, no, I definitely get where you're coming from with that, for sure. I mean, I personally am on the more side, like, I think I'm I don't know. I support the fact that they can take their time over the game. To be honest, I know where you're coming from, everyone. Where it's kind of like, maybe there is a hot point where you want to release the game by. But I think what it is as well, it is down to marketing in a way, because that's why the thing is, you can't win though. That's why these developers, right, they'll go quiet, won't they? That's why everyone's like, why is Tunic so quiet, or why is The Last Night so quiet? Probably because they're working at the moment and they don't want to get the hype up, because then they're going to do the 1 year to release mark, they're going to get the hype going, and they're going to do the Ascent, what they're doing now, and keep going up to release, hyping it up. They're not hyping it too early. I think that's what it's down to. It's about the marketing, taking the right timing to hype it, if you know what I mean. Not hyping too early. Obviously getting a trailer out early is essential as well, because there's people like me and us guys who want to look at it and also maybe talk about it on our channels, or like spread the word for it. But the actual final run, then you want to do what the Ascent are doing now, that's why I definitely think the Ascent is coming very soon. I would be surprised if we don't get a new trailer with it being like coming very soon or something like that on this particular event. The thing with indie games as well is you don't usually get the release date until like 1 month before the actual release date. So there is that factor in as well. So because they like to make sure they've got the game made before they put a release date on it, like the opposite of AAA studios. This is the date, the September the 20th, and we're going to get to that and then crunch to death until we're like dead. And then if the game's still not ready, it will go out anyway, kind of thing. Sorry to slag off AAAs, but that's the truth, I'm afraid.
I think you are totally correct, because in indie devs, like I think most of them would like to be in the spotlight. Like maybe some of them don't want to spill out all of the beans, but then there is also this kind of developers like Joe, who is making Song of the Iron.
So
So I think his Twitter activity is excellent, because he always brings these small updates, like very very small things, new things that he have created, and I think he shows them in a very good light, and
definitely
this game is kept in our mind all the time, so nobody is forgetting that game.
And I think with him as well, we are getting fairly close, potentially, I would say. Well, he said mid of this year, didn't he? So I think this is why it's a good time for him to be doing that. I think he uploads every Saturday. He does a, like a new sort of maybe get a game mechanic or something. He's a very fast worker by the looks of it, in my opinion, because he's always bringing something new to the table, which is awesome. But that game is hotting up big time. It's looking awesome. Really looking forward to that. I want to fire it over to Scott now, because we haven't heard from Scott for a little while. I'd love to hear from Scotty boy. Is there anything you're looking forward to from this 26th event, my friend, or anything you want to pitch in about Idea Xbox in general, or the marketing? What are you looking forward to, hoping to see, my friend?
Yeah, I think there's a lot I'm looking forward to at the moment. If you look back to the 2 shows that Microsoft did last year, there's still so much that were included in both of those shows from an indie perspective that aren't yet released. I had a look through the 2 shows at what games they actually showed off, and I had a look at the comparison list of which games had released, and there was maybe 2 or 3, the likes of Call of the Sea, for example. I think looking at the list of what I'm expecting, so there's a couple that really stand out. So definitely Tunic. I'm so excited for that game. I know obviously we just spent a little bit of time talking about that. 12 minutes is a massive one that I know a lot of people are looking forward to as well. Maybe one a little bit left field is Shredders. I'm really excited to check out Shredders.
Nice.
As a big SSX fan, it's snowboarding games are pretty rare these days, so really excited to check Shredders.
That was on the screen a little while ago. In case if you didn't notice, guys, that Shredders, the snowboarding game, when it pops up, it's on a loop, so it will pop around again at some point. But Shredders looks really cool. Unfortunately, they haven't even got a proper trailer yet, which is a bit of a shame. It's only that little segment that they showed in that reel. I was looking for a trailer for today, actually, but Shredders looks awesome. I think that's going to be pretty damn cool.
Yeah, and I think maybe one other one, which I think is one of the ones that they've advertised definitely being shown, which I just find fascinating as a concept of the game, is XO1. Which is kind of to me looks like Frisbee the game. If anything. But it just looks like a fascinating concept, and it looks weirdly relaxing.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
there's a lot of big stuff that they've shown off that I'm really excited to get some updates on. Like I say, the big one really is 12 minutes. I really want. I hope that game comes out. I mean, obviously, I'm part of the problem. Saying I want that game to come out. Obviously, I want the developers to take as much time as.
You're always respectful, my friend. You would never be one of those people who are just like awful in the comments. So yeah, nothing wrong with being excited for it. It's a different thing, of course.
Yeah, definitely. So hopefully we'll get a little bit of an update on that and a release date. And yeah, that's not just out of indie games. 12 minutes is one of the games I'm most looking forward to out of any game, alongside the big AAA games like Halo Infinite. 12 minutes is right up there.
Nice. No, yeah, there's a lot of hype for that game, which is really, really cool. What do you think it is about it? I'm going to ask a weird question for you. What do you think it is about 12 minutes that's captivated people's attention?
I think the top-down sort of viewpoint is interesting. I mean, obviously being confined to essentially one room, in all the gameplay clips. I mean, you do seem to be moving to different rooms within this couple's house, and all of these scenarios take place within just a certain small location. I'm just fascinated to see what exactly the loop is, and I'm fascinated to find out more about the story. I think what they've shown is, in a good way, just such a tease as to what to expect, and I think it just leaves so many questions, and it's that intrigue and that really has me excited. So it's nothing in particular. I think it's just a combination of things of the look. Obviously they announced Daisy Ridley and James McAvoy being the voice cast, which
pretty damn awesome.
And getting Hollywood to voice act isn't too bad.
It's not bad, is it?
Excitement a little bit. So yeah, I think it's just a combination of those things really. That have me excited. And it has featured a lot, particularly at Xbox events. So we have seen it a few times as well. So it has always stayed fresh within my memory over the past couple of events that Microsoft have had. So yeah, I think that's one of those games that we're talking about just a moment ago about whether games can be announced too early, and I kind of feel like 12 minutes is maybe one of those ones that you could see. We've seen a lot of it's appeared at a number of shows back to back, and we kind of just need to get it. But it's one game where each time I see it, I just get more and more excited. I'm not frustrated at the fact that it's not here yet. It's just every little bit of information they give me just gets me really, really excited.
Very nice, my friend. Yeah, I mean, for me, you nailed it there. I think for me, it's that cinematic feel it's got to it. I feel like the developer is very much kind of like a cinematographer almost, but a cinematographer stroke developer. I feel like it's definitely got that cinematic feel to it, and also that time loop thing is super interesting. I am really looking forward to it as well. I know there's a lot of people like shout out to Cybernox. I know he's really looking forward to 12 minutes as well, and many others as well. But that's great takes there, Scott, my friend. That is awesome. There is a ton more. Maybe if I mention a few more, might jar your memory. Like if you are looking at the screen as well, guys, that helps jar your memory a little bit. But the one we're looking at the screen at the moment is Last Stop. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but that was coming from another Annapurna game, but being developed by Variable State, who made Virginia. And yeah, that game is looking really cool to me. It's like a interconnected narrative, The Last Stop is, and it's set in London, interconnected story, which is kind of like it's kind of quirky, and there's a supernatural element to it as well. But I just think it's going to be like very much a story-driven thing going on, full voice acting, and I think it looks really cool. I'm looking forward to that game. I know VJ is as well, which is pretty damn cool. But another game I am really, really looking forward to is The Artful Escape. I don't know if you guys remember that one. That is the one that is a kind of a music-based game, but it just looks completely sort of like otherworldly, but also kind of like psychedelic at the same time. And you play like this guy called Francis Vendetti, and you are the sort of son of a very famous musician, and you're trying to realize and find your sound essentially. So it kind of reminds me, shout out to Dragon Wolf, it reminds me of The Mighty Boosh a little bit, my friend, that sort of story, because I don't know if you guys are fans, but the episode where they try and find the new sound, it kind of reminds me of that. I know Dragon Wolf will know what I mean. If any of you are fans of Mighty Boosh, you will know what I mean. This is completely psychedelic and awesome. But yeah, that game looks so great. I watched a trailer about kind of like the actual gameplay last night. I didn't even know that was out there. There's like one about 4 minutes, and the developers talking through the gameplay, and it looks so great. Honestly, I think it's going to be a phenomenal game. The guy who's making that game is an ex rock star anyway, so he used to play in a band. He's Australian, and like basically he's called Johnny Galvatron. Amazing. But yeah, he's super cool, interesting guy, and I think he does the music in the game as well, and it's proper like rock opera, you know what I mean? It's like fantastic. I cannot wait for the Artful Escape. That's a game that I would love to see pop up at this 26th event. I would love to see I would love to see, like you say, I know the Ascent will be popping up, and I'm hoping that will be potentially a release date. But I think just actually before we move on, do you guys remember the Artful Escape at all? Any of you guys?
Yeah,
yes, I did. I'm glad you brought it up. I was going to bring this up as well. I'm
Nice.
really looking forward to this game.
Nice, bro. Nice. Yeah, it is. I think it's just so different, but the art and the animation and the whole sort of vibe about it, I think it's just really, really nicely done. Actually, I think it's their first game as well. It's called Beethoven and Dinosaur. I think the developer, pretty damn cool. But yeah, any of you guys else want to mention anything about the Artful Escape? Is that one of your games you're looking forward to, or?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Nice.
It's like this. There is that great backstory of this real rock star who decided to move away from the fancy life and start to do this game. So
it's a fascinating story, that, isn't it?
Yeah. And the music is great. Really like it. I have a tiny bit of this worry that the gameplay might not be the best, but I am hoping that the visuals and the music and the combination of that feeling will fill up the.
I know what you mean.
Anything that the gameplay will lack.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Dragon Wolf knows exactly what I'm talking about. He's just put Spider in there, and that's one of the characters in it. So he knows what I'm going. Dragon Wolf is my Boosh brother. So, but and I definitely agree with you there, Meisuka, for sure. I think it's so cool. Like ex rock star, I think he was actually quite big as a rock star, like in Australia. A whole other music scene over there, which is separate from the rest of the world. I think they've got a big, quite rock scene over there, I think. But it's like the fact that he's just decided I'm gonna change into making games, and he seems to be pretty damn good at it, and he's also bringing that essence in there. The way he talks he's got the coolest voice as well when he does that voice, so he just sounds like a proper rock and roll star. And he's like, the game we've been jamming on is like this totally cool game, man. It's just like, I love it.
Sounds like a bit of a stoner.
A little bit. You got your rock star life, No, he's not like he doesn't sound hippie. He sounds, he's intelligent and everything. You know what I mean? But I'll have to link you the video to that.
Yeah, definitely.
But
I think slightly I guess slightly related to the Artful Escape indie is just, can we talk about how great the Annapurna seem to be as a publisher? I mean, if Annapurna's name is on a game, I'm basically interested instantly. There's just something about the games that they publish that they've got such a wide variety of games, but each game just has a sense of quality to it that I think not very many publishers can have, where almost every game that they release or announce just looks cool as hell. I mean, if you look at the games that we've spoken about today, obviously the Artful Escape and 12 Minutes, Last Stop, they're all Annapurna. Obviously it's not going to appear at these shows, I don't think, but something like Stray, which I think
my god, Stray looks so good. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, just like every game that they seem to release, it's just hit after hit after hit. Like, was it last year? What did they have? The Pathless and Kentucky Route Zero. And my first ever experience with them was What Remains of Edith Finch, which is still one of my favorite games of the previous generation.
Definitely.
If their name is on anything, then I'm instantly interested.
Totally agree with that.
See that AI logo there for me to probably check it out in some way, but definitely interested.
Awesome, bro. Yeah, no, it's that one's confirmed for Game Pass as well, by the way, the Artful Escape. Actually, I saw a question way back and I forgot to answer it. I think Cybernox said it. If I think I can actually remember what he said, but if I can actually find it, that'd be even better. I think he asked, are all of the indie games going into Game Pass in some slightly different? Did you guys see it by any chance?
I think yes.
Oh, there you go.
Either in Game Pass or exclusive to Xbox, possibly.
I found it now. Are all games on ID Xbox coming out in Game Pass? So that's a no, Cybernox, but there are a good chunk. But it's not every single ID Xbox game goes into Game Pass, no. But, we're getting a lot. So, and on screen, yeah, that is Narita Boy, Flame, definitely. And what's up, Flame? Thank you so much for dropping by. It's always great to see you in. That was Narita Boy a little bit back, the very retro kind of like VHS kind of 80s look to it. And that comes out on Game Pass actually the end of this month. And that is actually going to be at this 26th event. They're going to show that off a little bit. Narita Boy. I can't actually control the video, unfortunately, at the moment because of the way I've set it up today, just to loop and try so I can stay focused on things rather than trying to be Mr. Juggler again. It's sometimes a bit confusing doing it all at once. So I've put it in an auto mode. But yeah, that is Narita Boy. It looks really cool and like proper, like the music in the trailer and the visuals, it's very like that kind of retro feel, that, that sort of synthwave look kind of, if you know what I mean, that 80s vibe. I love the look of it. I don't know if you guys have checked out or noticed Narita Boy knocking around or noticed it on the trailers. It's going to be coming out on the 30th actually. It's a Team 17 published game and I can't remember the developer's name, but yeah, that's coming out at the end of this month. Any of you guys has that piqued your interest or you noticed it at all, guys? Narita Boy?
The first I've heard of it, actually.
No, that's cool.
I've heard the name. I haven't seen too much. What type of?
So it's kind of like an action adventure sort of. I think you're like inside the Matrix essentially. It's like all about like technology. You're in and you've become like consumed into like the RGB systems and all this sort of stuff. It's quite a cool idea. I wish I could wind it back and show it on the screen, but yeah, I don't know a ton about it, but it's got that they're really going in for that sort of retro style. It's like that chromatic aberration look to it, if you know what I mean. Yeah, it's sort of like it's got kind of like a dulled down almost look in that stylized look, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it's like I say, it'll be in Game Pass, so well worth checking out. And Team 17 don't usually publish terrible games, so but I think it's I did wonder whether it's a Metroidvania, but I don't think it is. I think it's just an action adventure style level based, maybe, I think. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out. It's apparently a lot of people have been saying it's good, so yeah, looking forward to checking out that game for sure. And yeah, Smokeback Official says he loves the Narita Boy visuals. Looks amazing. Cool, good stuff, my friend. Yeah, it looks great. Here's a game on screen at the moment, actually. I wonder if any of you guys remember this game, which is The Last Night. This is one which we could have, we were mentioning earlier that games have disappeared. Do you remember this one, guys? The Last Night. How about Luke Law for this one? Do you remember The Last Night, my friend? The cyberpunk world?
I mean, yes and no. And I'm kind of like, The Last Night is one of those names that just sounds so cool.
Yeah.
And every time I think about it, I tend to go into other aspects of it. Tell me what type of game this is. So
it's quite a mystery, but it's just so cinematic. It's kind of cyberpunk. It's like a mix, but it's like a 2.5D. I don't know if have you got it on screen as well at the moment? Sorry, just out of interest. Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool, brilliant. Yeah, so I mean, it just the thing is, it was announced in E3 2017, I want to say, and it was on the big stage. It's definitely been a while. It went away. There was some complications. They did lose their publisher over something. Which I won't go into now because I don't know the full story, but there was some issues with political sides of things being said on Twitter. Maybe that potentially lost them their publisher, because I think they might have been a bit, out of line for what they did, aligned their personal publishing ideals or whatever. But yeah, I don't know the full story of that, but I think they did lose the publisher. I think they're back on track now, but we haven't heard from it in a long time, and it is like one of my most anticipated games for sure. It blew so many people away. It's got nearly 1 million views on the trailer, I think. Yeah, looks awesome. Cyberpunk world. Like, I don't know too much about the actual game design. I don't think many people know much about what the actual sort of like, whether it's going to be like a Metroidvania or what, but yeah, it just looks so good. And the atmosphere is so well done, better than so many games I've ever seen. One of the best looking games I've ever seen, to be honest, with, you know, the way they do the sort of atmospheric lighting and that sort of this the whole atmosphere in it is so spot on. Like, it just, even the menu in the game, like as you see at the start, it just looks amazing. Like the whole feel of it.
Well, they absolutely captured the cyberpunk vibe.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely.
And, that genre has been getting a lot of spotlight, not just because of Cyberpunk 2077, but in general, we've seen a lot of games take hold of that atmosphere of late. That said, if the political stuff was the reason why they went dark, that's smart on their part. I don't know what it was they did or didn't say, but that is a great reason to shut up.
Yeah,
for sure. That said, I'm hopeful that we just, at the very least, find out more details. Release dates are relevant to gamers, and this is a year that where we are very light on AAA content.
Yeah.
So if you can get indie content into the right window of release and time it well and get some spotlight from those AAA tiers, meaning, you know, Xbox, Sony, or Nintendo are willing to put you in the spotlight, that can be a huge boon to sales and to mind share, as it were. So, you know, we'll see what happens.
Yes, indeed, my friend. Definitely. Yeah, that's the thing again with indie games. Like, it'd be nice, you know, what we can expect of games that have been away for a while is maybe a release window of a release year or something like that is what we first would probably get. So yeah, and then I know that sounds like nothing, but like, you know, to get something like that for the last night, it would be quite kind of cool. And again, like a game, this is not really related. This is not going to be coming up on the. This is by the way, guys, this is the Artful Escape on the screen right now. But yeah, just sidestepping there. But yeah, a game which definitely won't be coming up, unfortunately, is Hollow Knight Silksong, which I cannot wait for. But you know, we're still sort of like in the dark as to when that game is going to be coming. And we won't see it at an Xbox event. We'll see it probably at a Nintendo indie showcase, probably, I reckon. But yeah, like I think it's going to be one of those things that just come out of the blue and then it's sort of like coming soon kind of thing. But yeah, I think that's to be determined for Hollow Knight Silksong still. But yeah, like I think I'm fine with that. Like I don't mind about the fact that we don't get a release date till before, because it means they can finish the game to the standard they want to achieve without having the pressures of, you know, forcing any you know, unfinished games or anything like that. So, but yeah, I know what you mean. It's nice to get a bit more. You know, we want to see as many games as possible come out at the end of the day. It's all good. But yeah, any other games that you guys were sort of like hoping to see at this event? I mean, I know they have, like I say, confirmed you know, Second Extinction will be there, like, and Luke mentioned that, and also they did say Stalker 2, but I heard that was actually retracted as not being there for some reason. I think that was Pong Soul that said that. I don't know. I didn't see that firsthand, so maybe that he's probably right if he said it. So I don't know if we're going to see Stalker 2 there, but yeah, there's going to be over 100 games, 25, you know. So what kind of a presentation do you think we're going to see, guys? I mean, maybe if I just want to, Puxley, what kind of presentation would you like to see from this? Any other games that you want to see there as well, my friend? Or, you know, just feel free to mention. Do you think Idea Xbox are doing a good job of pushing out these games? I guess it will have a better answer to that after, but what do you reckon, buddy?
Yeah, they've kind of had really good shows in the past in the way they've done it, but I say the Twitch partnership this time around, I think it's going to be quite interesting. I think, yeah. I mean, I know Luke touched on this near the beginning of the show, but I also think it's a really good move, because most people congregate to Twitch, and I don't think, you know, since the kind of dissolving of Mixer and pushing Facebook gaming, I think a large majority of people just abandoned it entirely rather than succumb to Facebook. So, I mean, Twitch is obviously the most famous. It's where everyone is. Where if you want to watch any kind of show or streaming event, So it's definitely the right move, I think. But I don't know what kind of show it would be, whether or not it would be like kind of like a sitting down round table type thing, or whether it's like a Game Awards style thing, but maybe not just so glamorous. It's so hard to call. I'm thinking maybe like a kind of miniaturized version of the Game Awards, if that makes sense, where maybe there's one guy who's maybe speaking, and then it's just trailer after trailer. And as you say, if there's over 100 titles, I don't anticipate that we're going to be watching trailers for every single game there. So I expect, as you say, to see about 25 or 30 of like the biggest ones, and then sizzle reels of hey, look at all this other cool stuff which is going to come along.
I quite enjoy a sizzle reel personally. I am a big fan of I really like the idea of Xbox sizzle reels as well. There was one that was popping up on this rotation, and I don't mind. I don't know how everyone else feels about it, but it's nice to have if it's your game, to have your full trailer shown, of course. But me personally, I quite like seeing the game. Oh, that's juicy bit of 5 seconds goodness. I'm going to look that one up. You know what I mean? Like I can usually gauge if I'm going to like that, or if it's worth looking up at least, in that 5 seconds. So I'm happy with 100 or however many games. It's going to be a ton of games. I'm happy with like getting into all of those and looking them up. I wonder, how many new games there's going to be. There is actually one game that's going to be announced that's been confirmed. That is by Drinkbox Studios. They are the developers of Guacamelee and Guacamelee 2, and they are going to be.
I've read about this.
Yeah, which is pretty damn cool. Have you read any info on the actual game or anything like that, or do you just know that it's going to be announced? Or
I haven't caught up on too much. I just know that they're announcing a new title, and I didn't play much of the original Guacamelee, but I've played through Guacamelee, not all of it unfortunately, but I've played through a lot of Guacamelee 2. Really loved it.
Yes.
And really loved playing it. So that kind of game is really like one of my kind of things. It's one of the type of games I like to play. So
nice.
I'm really excited to see what they're pulling out the bag next.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited for that. I mean, I'm a big fan of Metroidvanias in general. That game's got a ton of personality, and I really think they are a good studio, and I think they could have something really good up their sleeves. So, any of you guys play Guacamelee on the panel here? Or excited for this announcement?
Yeah, I have played the first one.
Nice. Looking forward to seeing what they got up their sleeve next.
Yeah, for sure. I think they are a very good studio. They have great art.
Yes.
And they have great animation. The music fits. Even the stories is not the kind of most imaginative, but it really fits the game types that they make. So
yeah, it will be interesting. Definitely, they've got their own style, haven't they? Which I always love. That's what I love about indies. Each of the developers bring their own style to the party. It's all about their own way of doing things. They're not following other trends. I mean, sometimes you do obviously see games which are influenced by, but then it's always a twist of things. And obviously there are games which are straight copies, which are usually the worst of the indie game scene. Most of the games are, great innovation and, that kind of stuff which comes from the indie scene, which I absolutely love. Yes, I mean, is there any other games before we move away from Idea Xbox or anything else you want to mention about Idea Xbox in general? Anybody here? Scott, my friend, is there any other games you're looking forward to that has been on the screen, or any others that have jarred your memory anywhere or anything like that?
We've covered a lot. Well, most of the games that I'm particularly excited for. I'm just trying to think 100 games.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
How long is this thing going to be, or how are they going to fit all that in? I'm wondering, is that almost too many? You talk about these sizzle reels that Microsoft often had, and I do get what you say, Andy, when you say it's good when you just get 5 seconds of something and you focus on that 5 seconds. You're like, right, I need to know more about that. But also, if there's going to be a lot of that throughout this show, then I'm wondering if maybe there's almost too much.
It does make me wonder a little bit, because the way it's phrased is actually a little bit weird, but it says 100 games, and then later on down into the article, I don't know if you guys have read it or anything, but it says 25, which it seems to be focusing on more. But yeah, I mean, that could easily be done. Sometimes you think, oh, wow, that is so many, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I know what you mean though. So when I say I love to have those sizzle reels because I get as many games as possible, and then what I have, sadly, I'm a bit sad. I've got a list of games which I'm looking forward to actually like written out on in Word and everything because I'm that sad. But I have to keep track of all these upcoming indie games. It's part of my thing. So, but yeah, like so I add them to my list and that I track how far off release they are. I'm sad, I know, but but yeah, so it keeps me in the know a little bit. But so for everyone else though, maybe it is a different thing. They maybe feel overwhelmed by that many games. I don't know, but hopefully they are. They'll be diving in deep on those 25, and then those others are sort of just extras to get in there, I guess. I mean, do you feel like it would be better to have it a more concise, less number, or?
My concern would just be if there's that many games, maybe a small game that maybe only gets 5 or 6 seconds of a sizzle reel, just they might get overshadowed by other things within the show. And obviously there's going to be a lot of fantastic games shown then, and it's important that a lot of these games get the attention they deserve. And sometimes I just wonder, I think the idea at Xbox sizzle reels that they do in part of a larger show, I think there's a lot of eyes on that, and there's maybe 10 to 15 games, and I think it's very easy to pick out the games within that sizzle reel you like. But if you start expanding that to maybe 30, 40 games or something like, or maybe 3 or 4 different sizzle reels of 10 to 15 games, I would just be a little bit worried that maybe some of the games don't get the attention that they often or should deserve.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I know what you're saying. It's tricky, isn't it? There's a lot of indie games. There's more indie games, I think, than there are AAA. Well, naturally there are. So yeah, it's good. It's a tricky one to sort of tackle, but I know what you mean for sure. But yeah, because I actually thought that what we would get is, I thought we would be getting a like the May showcase, the Xbox May showcase last year, where the Ascent was announced. That I thought we were going to get another event like that. Do you feel like this is a better move to go down this route than to showcase indie games than it is to do like an event like that? Was that what kind of event was that even? It was like an inside Xbox, or didn't like that one? No, a lot of people didn't like that one. No.
Yeah, I think so. The problem with that particular event is I think expectations going in. I think Microsoft did a very, very bad job of setting expectations
100%
ahead of time. If you remember, the big thing about that event was we're going to show Assassin's Creed. It's going to be first Series X gameplay, and it was a very small trailer with no gameplay. It was kind of just
exactly.
Yeah,
well remembered, because when I was looking up a little bit for my Ascent video and stuff, I was Ascent released then, and then a lot of the trailers were sort of and that around that time were all like Xbox Series X gameplay trailer, you know what I mean? And it's like just and it's about an indie game or whatever, you know what I mean? It's like just lay off, you know what I mean? It's all marketing, obviously, to for Xbox Series X and all. But that was all expectations mismanaged, and I think that was same for one of the Future Games shows from last year as well, where they got like 50% like thumbs down on it or something because of that sort of thing as well. So yeah, but so you think it's expectations, or did you enjoy the show, would you say, if you cut away the expectations? Or
I certainly enjoyed the show. I mean, seeing games like the Ascent that were caught on screen at the moment, it was the first time I saw that game, and I'm extremely excited for that. I think hype was obviously one thing, and I would say to everyone about any shows, just keep your expectations low, and you can never be disappointed. But I think part of it was, around that time, obviously it was relatively early in the pandemic, and people were getting used to working from home and doing these presentations from home, and you had Aaron Greenberg, who had really bad laptop, what looked like a laptop camera.
I remember
it just
that,
looked really not particularly professional. If you compare the two shows that Microsoft did last year and the presentation style between the two, they were worlds apart. I think what I would like to see for this is maybe something more along the lines of a Nintendo Direct, or probably a State of Play. I think would be a really good format for this type of game. I really like what Nintendo and Sony have done with those events during the pandemic, and content aside, you couldn't take anything away from Sony and Nintendo's what's the word? I can't think of it. Just the presentation, the overall style that they bring to those events. Whether the content's good or what you want is obviously another matter entirely. But the overall presentation style of those events has been fantastic, and I would like to see this event being something along that. I probably don't want to see someone, maybe, unless it's a developer talking about their game. I don't want to see someone like Aaron Greenberg talking about the game. Maybe someone like Chris Charler, who's often appeared on Microsoft shows
That would be awesome. Chris is the man. But yeah, I think what it's going to be, unfortunately, is some Twitch streamers talking. Sorry to disappoint.
Oh, please, no.
I think that's on the announcement, I'm afraid, guys.
Have they actually said that? Apologies if I missed that, because I hadn't seen that, so I was kind of going in with my own idea of what it might be. So I mean, I'll obviously be open to whatever it is that they show, and the focus will be on the games. If the games are good, the show will be good. But I don't want to see too many webcams and poor quality things. I think I just want to see some good, cool looking games. Yeah,
that's the same for me. Like, just as long as the games are good, and I mean, I like. That's the thing with the Future Game Show. We're going to move on to that very, very shortly. The Future Game Show really is a well-paced show. If you haven't seen one already, it's nice and all keeps the games flowing really, really well. And I kind of hope this is like that. And like you say, and it's the same as in a Nintendo Direct that does that superbly. They're kind of like the trailblazers of that kind of style of event, I would say. And they do that really, really well. I like that style. You get as much game goodness as possible, kind of thing. So Xbox have kind of tried to do little indie sort of mini videos of indie games that are upcoming, but they've actually got their own Idea Xbox channel. Don't know if any of you guys knew about that. There's a lot of people don't know about there's an Idea Xbox channel, but it's not got a ton of subscribers. I have been surprised about that also, because they are pumping content like crazy. There's a lot on there. So if you want to stay up to date with that, I highly recommend subscribing to Idea Xbox, the YouTube channel. But it's kind of weird because you kind of think, well, maybe they could upload them to the main Xbox channel or something, as Idea Xbox kind of videos, because what they do is sometimes they'll upload like a sort of 9 upcoming indie games or whatever, and they just do like a 2-minute video of it or something, and they'll do that every so often, which is pretty cool, because some people miss that and they think, oh, they never do anything, but they actually do a little something, but it's just not maybe the greatest thing what they're doing there. But I'd like to see more of these events. I'll tell you what, let's segue straight on into the Future Game Show now, unless there's anything else you wanted to throw in there about any Idea Xbox games you're looking forward to, guys. I'm going to fire this to the chat as well. Let me know the games you're looking forward to, guys, in the chat. I would absolutely love to hear any Xbox games that have been featured maybe for Xbox before that are Idea Xbox that you're looking forward to. There are so many great ones coming. I'm really looking forward to the Gunk as well. That's on the screen at the moment, and it would be awesome to get an update on that one for sure. Is there anything else you guys want to say before we move on to the Future Game Show?
Nothing from me, indeed. Let's move on.
I just want to note that I don't know what it is.
That's awesome, my friend. That's all good. It's the future of gaming. Although that was someone else's tagline, actually, wasn't it? I think that didn't go down too well. I don't know. Anyways, guys, we're going to segue into the Future Game Show action now. So, as I said, the Idea Xbox showcase is the 26th. And shout out to Psychonauts and Ains in the chat. Your nemesis could be in the chat. Green Pass Gaming, guys, you better watch him for the Halo tournament. Ains, have you been watching Green Pass Gaming? They're not bad, you know. I can't wait to see that. I'm sure you're going to be in the final together. But yeah, shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for being here. It is awesome to see you. Shout out to Infinite, bro. How are you doing, brother? Great to see you. But yeah, let's move on to the Future Games Show topic now. Like I say, this one's taking place on the 25th, and I didn't mention it before, but I'm thinking I'm actually going to do a live stream of the Idea Xbox show, which needs to be slightly more. I need to go into a bit more planning on that. But the Future Game Show, I'll definitely be doing a live stream reaction on the channel, by the way, guys. So look out for that if you're up for checking that out. But yeah, the Future Game Show then, it's a Games Radar hosted event where they basically put on a ton of upcoming not just indie games, upcoming games. They do AAA games in there as well. They feature it kind of a fast-paced, as I say, like an hour and a half sort of pure games and a little bit of talk in between. But they always bring on like cool hosts as well, who are actual game voice actors and stuff like that. Like before, they've had Nolan North host it, and they've had the guy who's played Snake as well in Metal Gear Solid and all that good stuff. This time they've got Resident Evil people hosting it, which is pretty cool. I like the way they do that. But yeah, it's going to take place on the 25th. Let me just get rid of that, and you can see the times on the screen there when it's taking place. So yeah, the Future Games show, I've always enjoyed it. I know Fastback enjoys it a lot as well. We watched it last time. I did a stream of it last time as well, a live reaction. They have confirmed a bunch of people like Team 17, EA, like oh god, I can't remember the full list of it now. I should have it to reference when I haven't. But yeah, they've confirmed. I'll get it for a minute. A bunch of people who are going to be there, and yeah, they've confirmed 40 plus games are going to be featured, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The Future Game Show. They, like I say, last year they did 2, and this year this is going to be the first of 3 events from the Future Game Show. And like I say, I just enjoy any old event where it's kind of like a packed lineup of games being drip fed, or not drip fed, or sort of like directly fed into my retinas. That I'm not even saying this right, but yeah, anyway, I enjoy soaking it all up, that goodness of gaming. And yeah, looking forward to the Future Game Show. I highly recommend checking it out, but we're going to talk about it a little bit now. So we're going to basically open this up, moving away from maybe just Xbox games that you might be looking forward to, but anything that you guys have you any of you guys checked out a Future Game Show before? I know Luke hasn't. Any of you guys? No, that is then.
Yeah, I did actually watch the last year. Sorry, I was just.
That's all right.
See if anyone else jumped in.
That's all right. No, I should direct it.
Yeah, I did. I watched the shows last year. I think just any game show that's available, I'm gonna gobble that up to try and get the latest on whatever games that might be shown. I think they've done a good job in the past of presenting. I think maybe part of the problem it has, and this is more the audience, I think, more than the actual show itself, is I think it obviously doesn't have a lot of the big hitters there. Obviously Microsoft and Sony and Nintendo are going to save their own stuff for theirs, but there's a lot of cool stuff that they showed. I mean, if you look at last year, what did they bring? Like Ghost Runner, you streamed that actually recently, Indy, didn't you?
I did indeed. Yeah, and that was there last time. Yeah. That's right. You've got that right, my friend. Yeah, they had a good bunch. In fact, I'll pull up a previous stream from it in a minute, and we can have a look at some of the stuff that they did show. But yeah, they do have some of that sort of like middle tier stuff, quite a lot of that middle tier stuff, like, and also some of the indie stuff in there too, which is always really cool to see. They sometimes have some big stuff as well, but it tends to be more the smaller stuff, the indie to AA stuff, if you like. But yeah, no, it's a cool event. I like the way it's packaged essentially as well. It's a nice, flowing event, which is a lot of fun. Obviously it depends on what games are shown is a factor. But what would you like to see maybe shown at this event? Is there any games that you'd hope to see that are outside of that Idea Xbox sort of bracket? Maybe you can go bigger games if you want as well, or other platforms too. I mean, is there anything you would hope to see here? Are you looking forward to maybe that hope it comes up? Let's fire that one straight over to Puxley, shall we? as I didn't do it. Sorry, buddy.
That's all right. In terms of the Future Games Show, yeah, I'm kind of maybe thinking of some of the bigger hitters here. Like Team 17 are on here, so I'm assuming I believe it's out on PlayStation 4 at the moment, but I believe they're going to be showing their Worms Rumble. Or at least I'd like to hope they show their Worms Rumble coming to Xbox and other platforms. That
would make sense. It's brand new, isn't it? So and they are on the list of developers, also publish. Well, they are actually a developer and a publisher on that case, I think. Yeah. But yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Because I think it's already been mentioned that it is planned to come to Xbox later this year anyway. So it'd be quite interesting to see if we get any more gameplay, if not just a release date as to when it is coming to other platforms outside of PlayStation.
Yep.
But the other one for me, coming from Warner Brothers, I really would like to see some of the Harry Potter RPG, like proper gameplay. I know it's kind of had a bit of news recently about, I think some of the thoughts regarding the lead designer or something, or
oh, really? It's politics, is there? Or
political stuff. It's kind of had a bit of a news beat from that, but outside of that, I'm really intrigued to see what a Harry Potter RPG could look like. I mean, I've played I played some of the older ones back in the day, the different Harry Potter titles, and obviously they followed the movies. They were okay. They weren't bad. They were quite interesting enough to play through. But this one is obviously a whole new adventure, kind of, a new character, new protagonist type of thing, and you kind of explore more open worldly than kind of the linear kind of stories of the older games. So that is, I'm really hoping they show us some proper gameplay for that as well. And hopefully a release date to add on to that, actually. I'd love to see gameplay and a release date for that game in particular, because that one's really got my mind.
So,
didn't they release?
Oh God, sorry.
They pushed the release back to 2022 fairly recently.
Did they?
That one, maybe just in the past.
I might have missed that.
I think I missed that. Yeah.
I had a look at the WB Games sort of lineup of games that they've got, and they've got coming this year, I believe, the Lego Star Wars and Back for Blood, and then Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad, and Hogwarts Legacy. I think are all sort of have already been pushed to 2022. So I wasn't expecting to see those, because Gotham Knights was only delayed on Friday, I think, which was fairly recent, which is a shame because I was really looking forward.
It was very recent, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Hogwarts Legacy was delayed and the past couple of months as well. So I wasn't expecting to see too much, but I agree, it would be cool as hell to see something from some of those bigger games, in the Batman and the Harry Potter universes.
Yeah, did you notice as well? There's they I don't know if you saw this last time, but they actually revealed the Gollum game. I don't know if that's up your street or anything, guys, but that is going to have a more in-depth dive into the gameplay at this time's future game show. Is Gollum up your street at all? Are you fans of that kind of realm? Any of you guys, or?
You know what? It's something I'm definitely hoping to see something of on the future game show, because I saw the snippet in your reel. I'm not I haven't been a massive fan of the Lord of the Rings games in the past. Just the general kind of gameplay didn't really grip me, at least back then. But this one's kind of looking again a bit more 3D platformy in a way, adventure-y kind of style. But again, it's not, as far as I'm aware, not much has really been shown as to what kind of game it really is. So definitely that would be another one I'm really hoping we get to see at least something of.
Definitely, my friend. Yes, I mean, like, there's one game I would love to see turn up at this, and that is a game I know our good friend, I like to call him my friend now because he is an awesome guy, and I have a lot of good chats with him, and that is Luke Still, your Green Pass Gaming partner in crime. He is looking forward to this game a lot, and he actually brought it to my attention in the first place, and that is Season. And that is such a cool game. I would really love to see that. It's coming to PlayStation and PC, I believe. But
yes, that's correct, yeah.
I would really like to see that turn up again. I mean, I'm not sure if we will, but I know it's a game I'm very much excited for. The art style in that game is stunning. But yeah, that kind of thing could turn up at this. It's kind of that smaller sort of game. There is a good possibility, or Stray would be awesome as well. That would be a really good one to see turn up at this event. I'm not sure how far Stray is off of getting into its final sort of stages, but I have a thing it's still a little way off. With regards to Stray, I looked up a little bit of the gameplay, and it's so amazing looking. Actually, I'm not sure about if the gameplay is going to work as a cat and all that, but when I looked up the gameplay, it's actually really cool. It's kind of like stealthy and all that stuff. Really looked pretty cool. It's only a real tiny glimpse of it though, because there's not much out there, but it looked actually really cool, like it might work well. But there's also the what do we, oh god, I forgot the name of it now. There's the oh my god, I forget the name of it. I'll come back to that. Sorry, guys. Is there anything else you were looking forward to, hoping to see, or any games that that have gone quiet that you may want to see make a return or anything, Puxley, my friend?
I mean, because it's hosted by the Resident Evil 3 crew, I'm wondering if we're maybe going to see some more footage for the Resident Evil multiplayer game that they're kind of working on, and they kind of showcased in the Resident Evil showcase a while back, if you remember. It's almost like a everyone against the baddie kind of thing that you have to try and get out. You've only got so much time to do it, but it's almost like it's all cell shaded graphics, if you get what I mean, rather than the more realistic look. So I don't expect we'll see it, if I'm perfectly honest, but I'm wondering if we might get maybe a bit more because of who the hosts are, but that might be me just reaching a little bit, if I'm perfectly honest.
It could happen though, because they could link that in for sure. yeah, I'm not sure if they did any link like that last time, because last time it was there he is, Nolan North on the screen. That was actually, I think, 2 times back actually. But yeah, so I've got a little bit on the screen now to kind of remind us. It will give us an idea maybe of what the sort of games would potentially come up. Let me just sort of scrub past a little bit. So here was a game. What was this one called? Dustborn. So yeah, these are kind of like these sort of slightly smaller games, but at the same time very cool games a lot of the time. Let's just see, what did we have? Like Scott said, Ghost Runner, Call of the Sea featured at this. So yeah, these are the kind of things that you tend to see pop up. I have a feeling we will see some of the stuff. Like, I think we might see the Ascent at this as well. I know it's doubling up, but that doesn't mean, you know, not everyone's going to watch both. So I think they will potentially feature on both and all that stuff. But yeah, like, you know, I think, you know, it's good to, you know, it'd be good to sort of see what they see. I know I'm sort of making no sense right now, no direction. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's kind of, you know, there's a lot of games in the pipeline which we're kind of looking forward to, but I guess at the same time a lot of those games may feature at the idea Xbox. So I mean, like we were talking about earlier, like Song of Iron, that is a game which I would absolutely love to see. I think that is that's got a decent chance of coming up at the old idea Xbox. We may well see it at this one as well. But you know, those kind of games would be awesome to see. I mean, this kind of event, I think it's a really good thing. I mean, it's hosted by Games Radar, which is obviously a big website. It's kind of like an IGN, obviously, but they do a good job of it, and they do a good job of showcasing some of the smaller games as well, which I really appreciate. But yeah, I don't know if I'm just rambling on now, guys. I mean, are you guys looking forward to future game show? Meisuke, are you looking forward to some future game show? Have you checked out one before, or will you be checking out this one?
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't see the one last year, but I quickly checked what they had last year. So there's a good chance to have this kind of higher caliber indie games in there. So I'm really looking forward to it. And if I would make a personal wish that I would like to see is because we all are locked down at our home, so there is actually like 2 like road trip indie games coming this year.
Yep.
So one is called Road 96.
And, yes, I know.
Another one, yeah,
nice.
Yeah, and another one is Forever Ago. So
nice.
I would hope to see at least one of those in the show.
Yeah.
And I would really like to see and play this kind of game this year, because get at least some virtual road trip going on.
Yeah, most definitely. That sounds good. Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's like they pack it full of some great games. I mean, they're like I was saying earlier, the publishers who are confirmed, I think they got 40 plus publishers, or was it that game 40 plus games, wasn't it? Sorry, where did we?
I think it's 30
publishers. Thank you very much. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of potential. I think did they have Devolver on that? I should be more organised. I'm not very organised today, I have to admit.
I think
there we go.
They mentioned Sega as well.
That's right. Yeah.
Warner, EA are the ones that they've mentioned, which.
That's right. Yeah.
Good lineup.
Yeah. So there's a lot of potential, and lots for more as well for indies and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean. Like I've said earlier, there's a lot of games I've been looking forward to within that, like the Artful Escape and stuff like that would be cool to pick up on this event too. But there's Chris Tales again. That was one that was shown last time. These are the kind of games we will potentially see, and it's that highlight of indie goodness that I think they do good on this event, and also, like I say, the actual delivery of the show. This one here, I forget the name of now, is where was it? We had Skater XL. I'll scrub on. Let's just give a feel with what we had. We had Neon Abyss last time, Skater XL, and we had Ghost Runner. Is that Ghost Runner? That is Bomber Crew, I think. Space Crew, sorry. But yeah, like I say, there's a ton we could be seeing. But this is where I kind of hope to get in some other stuff that we don't know. I mean, I'd love to see Circuit Superstars pop up on this as well. It's just come out in early access. Really cool racing game, top-down racing game, which is awesome. That's right, Liberated is what that game is. But yeah, how about yourself, Luke? Have you checked out any... no, you said you hadn't, sorry. But would it be something you would be checking out in future, my friend? Will you be checking out this one on the 25th?
This is one of those ones where I'm more interested in the recap.
Yep.
Not because of anything
Fair
other
enough.
than my own schedule. I think the recap would probably collect more of what I'd be interested in after the fact. And again, I openly admit this is a blind spot for me. This is one that is not one I'm greatly familiar with. And as I would always hope for any of the game showcases, I'm hoping to see games that do catch my attention. And if they do, I'm absolutely there for them. But I hope they have a great show. And whatever that recap does offer, I will be looking with interest and more interest after just hearing you guys talk and wax poetic about it.
Yeah, fantastic. We will certainly be doing that. Can I just ask you a question, my friend? Obviously you are a well-established guy in the community. You do great work, and have you ever spoken to Chris Charler yourself, or have you ever tried to get him on your show? Or Chris Charler, the head of ID Xbox.
Yeah, I know Chris.
Yeah, so just in case.
Before, but not like we're not like personal friends or anything like that. I've bumped into him in a few chat rooms for a wonderful podcast called Player One Podcast.
Awesome.
He is somebody I absolutely want to have on XEP.
That would be awesome.
He is a busy man, and Xbox PR is not exactly the easiest to break in the mold to. But
yes,
I admire him tenfold.
Yes, he's done a lot, hasn't he? For sure. He's done great things for the Idea Xbox program for sure. It's he's always a really great to listen to. Did you watch the interview he did with Major Nelson when they did the celebration of the 2000 games shipped on the Idea Xbox program? I don't know if you watched that on Major Nelson's podcast, but that was really cool. And he is pretty down to earth actually, which I really enjoyed about him, which is nice.
Very down to earth, and he has so many just great stories about being a part of getting games made, watching games being made, and encouraging games of all types. I mean, his knowledge level, and this would go, I think, to many veterans in the industry, but when they just off the cuff mention stories about how a game is brought to fruition and how they've helped games get published, I could listen to that all day. It makes you feel good, you know?
Yes, it really does. Yeah, no, he's done good things. He's always trying to support those and seek out as well those small games, which is awesome. I love that. And yeah, push them forward, he's done amazing things. 2,000 games shipped in the ID Xbox and 2,000 games currently in production, which are going to be releasing, through the ID Xbox program, as I say, which is pretty amazing. So yeah, it's thriving now, the ID Xbox program, which is awesome. But yes, cool. So where are we? Cool. Yeah. So maybe we should just. I'm going to try. I think we maybe exhausted the future game show for our what we have to say on it. I think it's going to be a really good show. It's kind of a weird one though, because when you're sort of predicting what you want to see from it, it's it's one of those things like pulling it out of the hat almost kind of feel. I think with Idea Xbox's their showcase coming up, I think it's a much more easier for us to speculate of what's going to be on that one. I think we'll see some stuff come up from that one on this Future Games show too. But yeah, hopefully we'll see some nice surprises. That would be awesome.
I've got a quick one for you, Indy, actually.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Do you
my friend.
reckon there is any chance of seeing a Silksong release date?
From the Future Games show?
Yes.
I would say a no, unfortunately.
You think?
Sorry to say.
It's just me dreaming. I thought I'd ask you.
Yeah, I love it.
It's probably not, but am I wrong?
I love the question. Don't worry. You never apologise for dreaming. But yeah, no, I strongly think that it's going to be like a Nintendo. It will be an Indie World Direct, I think, when it comes up.
Yeah.
Would you agree? Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. I'm just sitting there thinking,
yeah.
Is there a chance? Probably not, but I want there to be a chance.
Well, the thing is as well, one of the reasons I say that passionately is because at EGX, when Silksong was there in 2019, that the Silksong stand was actually within the Nintendo area. So, like,
yes, okay.
It was blocked off into their area, like next to Mario, pretty much, and all that good stuff, you know. But it was like it was getting a lot of attention as well, which was awesome. And you know, obviously, that was the best thing there at EGX. Of course, just Mario is in the gutter, like, you know. But yeah, it was there. It was getting good attention, and but you know, for that reason, I would say it's going to be. I would say that's the reason it's going to be an indie world for the next. That they've probably signed some sort of deal or something to market the game for them. Would you say that's a good reasoning, or?
Yeah, I think that makes good sense actually. So, if anything, what you're really saying is that once we hear about the next Indie World announcement,
yeah, that's what. Yeah,
crossed,
that is exactly right. And by the way, I would love to stream every Indie World going forward. Like, I'm ready to do a live reaction with you and anyone else if you want to do that.
That'd be cool,
because I think there's chances that could come up. You know what I mean? You know, when that happens, it's going to be bonkers. You know, did we see? And we've got one more thing, and it's Silksong.
Yes.
It's gonna be.
It's got to be the last thing as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the classic style. That would be pretty amazing. But I think that's when it will come up. VJ's got a little theory as well. It actually matches up. Do you remember when we did talk about it on the podcast? Didn't we? Did the Silksong chats that time, and
yes.
We sort of did a prediction of our dates. I predicted June the 14th. I went back and had a check of that the other day. And VJ had a little theory as well the other day. He said because of the magazine article and everything on Edge magazine, he said he thinks it's usually around 6 months after the magazine article that the game comes out. I believe that. You can correct me in the chat, VJ, if you'd like, my friend. I think that's what he said, 6 months after. So that would bring us to around that June-ish time, I believe. So that ties in with mine too. So I'm trying to hang on to VJ's theory, but mine was just a kind of a guess of when I thought it would be. But I thought June this year seemed pretty good. I can't remember what you said, Puxy. I'll have to go back and have a check. Do you remember?
I can't remember. I can't remember, Phil. Maybe I said August or September, maybe. But now that you said June, that kind of makes sense, especially if they've got almost like an exclusive marketing deal with Nintendo, because the original Hollow Knight came to Switch in the June of 2017, I believe, as well. So
nice, yeah.
It could work. It's possible.
Could be. It's pretty exciting. Yeah, I mean, it'll be awesome. But like, I don't think we're that far away, to be honest. I think it could. I think June. I'm still feeling good about that. But until it gets to July, and then I'll be like, But yeah, like I think we won't be too far off. So VJ says, on average, yes. Plus the fact Sony offered the PS Plus members in November last year, so he's got a little extra to his theory there as well. So yeah, I mean, June this year could be good, and I mean that's the E3 window as well, isn't it? I guess so. You know, if not that there'll be an actual E3, but you know, it might fit in with the E3 online events or whatever's going on.
Yeah, I think we're all expecting some sort of showcase around that time, aren't we?
Yeah, so definitely.
It has to be then.
Yeah, so that sounds good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, you looking forward to it, my friend?
What, an E3 show? Oh, definitely. Or some equivalent of. It's, I think, every gamer's Christmas of the year, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think at the moment they're kind of doing the smaller sort of scale games announcements and stuff like that. But yeah, like I think once we get to that time, it will be the big boys. But there'll be some stuff coming out a bit earlier for the bigger stuff. Obviously, I'm all about the smaller stuff anyway, so I'm fine with that. But yeah, like Silksong is gonna take over our lives. I think when it comes out, it's going to be awesome. We're going to definitely have to do a podcast Silksong specific, the Silk cast or whatever. I don't know. We get all our Silksong fans on there, Hollow Knight fans on there, and we'll talk about that before it comes out, and that'll be fun. So what I'm going to do quickly before we wind it up, guys, is don't leave me hanging on this one, chat, by the way, is we're going to fire the attention to the chat, and we're going to ask you guys to send some questions our way, and we will answer anything sort of like gaming related, fire us some questions. We would love to answer them. I should have mentioned this a little bit earlier to give you some time, but yeah, just let us know some questions in the chat and we will we'll dive into them. It would be much appreciated. So yeah, hopefully we will get some questions from you and then answer those. But yeah, so you're looking forward to this kind of like mini sort of like next few sort of weeks of reveals and stuff, guys. How about yourself, Scott? Are you looking forward to that? Are you looking forward to E3? Looking forward to events? How do you see the E3 thing going without it being a physical event? You looking forward to it, bro?
Yeah, really looking forward to E3 as I do every year. I think the one thing I would like this year compared to last year in particular is maybe just for it to be a little bit more condensed. Last year it was spread pretty much from June to September. If they could maybe try to get maybe into a month or two, that'll be awesome. I fully expect to see a lot of people doing their own thing again this year. Not a lot of it'll be within the 2 days that you normally expect with E3, even though the ESA want to do something digitally. But yeah, it's always an awesome time of year for anybody who likes video games. You get to see brand new announcements, you get to see the game you've been excited for years. It's always good just to get everyone together, essentially celebrating our own love for video games. So really excited.
Most definitely, yeah, that celebration factor is big. Like, I'm really looking forward to when the EGX comes back in the UK, because we've got good friends like you. I've got good friendship bases now in the UK people, because there's quite like back in 2019, there wasn't really as many UK people. There was some, and I met up with Master Mayhem of BG4G at EGX. But yeah, when did I say E3 then? I said EGX, I think. Yep. But when EGX comes back in the UK, it'd be awesome if we can get as many people like from the UK to go, and we'll get together and meet up. That'll be so cool. That's like a lot of the guys in America do. Like, they meet up at E3. Have you ever met anyone from the community, Luke, in at E3 or anything? Have you been to E3, my friend?
Yeah, man, I've been to E3 2019. We were guests of Xbox Canada. Mind you, I am not Canadian. I was just working with a Canadian host at the time.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I've met with a few people from the community, but really it was not then that I had XEP. I was on a different show called the Xbox Drive, and so I'd met people from that. Most of my experience with community members has been digital and incredible, and I've really enjoyed gaming with and talking to so many different people from around the Twitterverse and whatnot. Yeah,
it's amazing. It's such a good thing where we've got that technology where we can actually kind of it can feel really closely connected with just over the world of the internet, which is awesome. But yeah, I just when you're actually at like an event, it's awesome. It's that extra level, and like there's games all around you. It's just like being in that proper candy store. The best place to be basically for gamers, and I love that. So yeah, because EGX is cool, because especially in my perspective, it's very much like there's lots of indie games there, and the developers are actually showing off their games. It's kind of like a PAX kind of thing. So yeah, like obviously they have at the actual main EGX in the UK, they have bigger games as well, but there's also a Rezzed event, which is a just indie event. But I just love being able to it'd be cool to meet up with some people. Hopefully the world will be back to normal at some point, and then Green Pass Gaming meet up at everyone at EGX would be proper cool. But yeah, I know you're quite close, Luke, with all of the people like Ains and Iron Lords and those guys, and they like to get down to E3 as well, don't they? I do believe.
Oh yeah, I look forward to the day where I can give Lord Cognito and Ains a hug and just shake their hand and thank them for all the great times. Yeah, those are good people, man.
They are definitely, they are awesome guys for sure, and so are you, my friend. But yeah, like there's no questions coming through. I should probably have asked that earlier. Give me a question for later. Yeah, maybe like I say, we're going to keep it a bit more shorter today. So it has been a lot of fun. It's been a little bit all over the place. I thought I'd try a little bit different. I'm not holding the fort too well, I'm afraid. Sorry guys, but I've had a lot of fun chatting games with you, and there's much to look forward to over the coming few weeks. Was there anything any of you guys wanted to sort of have a little last final chat about before we sort of wind up the show? Any other mentions of any kind, or any games you wanted to shout out that maybe you're looking forward to, or that you've played that are worth looking out for?
Can I quickly ask about a game that I saw on that on the sizzle reel you've got going just a few moments ago?
Yeah, most definitely.
First time I think I've seen it. I think it was Get to the Orange Door or something along those lines. I don't know if you're able to bring that back up, but that was genuinely the first time I'd seen that. It looks like that was part of last year's Future Game Show.
Yeah.
It was sort of like a really like almost Tron-inspired first-person shooter almost. That looked awesome. I don't know if you know.
I know a little bit about that one actually. Yeah, because I actually featured that one on my channel a while back as I did kind of like one of my top 10s of PAX East, I think it was, and it was being showcased there. I think at the moment it's in early access on Steam, so it's not on console at the moment. It's on the way, but yeah, so do you play on PC much, Scott, at all, or anything at all, or PC?
No, primarily Xbox or Switch are the two consoles I've got at the moment. So I think I saw at the end of the trailer, just caught it in the corner. I think it did say Xbox, so hopefully if it does come Xbox at a later date, I'll be able to get it. Good. This
good.
looks awesome.
Yeah, it's probably cool. It's got that sort of wall running stuff and fast action. I mean, if you like this kind of gameplay, I mean it's different, but like I think you would enjoy Ghost Runner if it's quite fast paced stuff.
Yeah.
This is obviously a shooter, but Ghost Runner's not. But yeah, I highly recommend checking out Ghost Runner. I'm having a blast with that game. It is pretty intense, but it's awesome. But yeah, this definitely looks like a proper cool game. Like I say, early access at the moment, and being made by I think just one guy. Again, this seems to be a very common trend, which is amazing. But yeah, it's just looks like proper sort of like sort of Titanfall style wall running sort of, and also the guns look quite Titanfall-ish kind of. But yeah, I like this sort of aesthetic. Are you a bit of a Tron sort of fan, or that sort of? Do you like that sort of look?
Not necessarily the Tron. I can't even tell you if I've seen much of that, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, sure.
I just like that. I like that style. I'm a big fan of first person shooters as well, so that game really stood out when I was watching this. I'm definitely going to check out a little bit more of that. I did check out your Ghost Runner stream that you did recently. That game looks brutal, if I'm being maybe too brutal, if I'm being perfectly honest. It looked
quite
good,
brutal.
But,
I made it look bad. I made it look hard, probably.
Well, that's the thing. You were talking about how you had done a few of these levels before, and obviously some of it just looked difficult.
I love it. I kind of love it for that though, in a way. I know what you mean though. It depends what you, if you know what you're getting into, then it's awesome. You know what I mean? It's you've got to plan your route correctly. You've got to sort of like execute fast, and precisely, if you know what I mean. But it's very much fun though, and the systems within the game work very well. I think it does get quite intense when they give you more like controls later on, like into the stream. I don't know how much you watched it, but I was like, you have to juggle quite a few new sort of mechanics, which can get a little bit hard because there's like one false move and you kind of like you're dead essentially. But it's instant respawn, and then you are back straight in, and I think I must have retried quite a lot of times, but like I said, that's the nature of the game. But yeah, I mean, give it a shot if you're unsure, but if you know that you're going to get on with it, I guess that's fair enough. Any else of you guys tried Ghost Runner, or you be interested in it?
That's been on my list to try, and I'm hoping it comes to Game Pass soon for sure.
That would be cool. Definitely would be cool. Yeah, because that game is it deserves a lot more love, in my opinion. It's kind of a bit of a hidden gem, in my opinion. I know, shout out to Shizno Elite, he loves that game. But yeah, I guess it's a good one to have in Game Pass because some people may feel that it's a bit sort of too intense for them. But like, I kind of like punishment. I don't mind it. Give me that punishment now. I mean, I know Meisuko, he found Hollow Knight was a little bit punishing. Was that with regards to the gameplay as well, Meisuko, getting onto that?
Yeah. It's punishing, but now that I think about it, after finishing it, I think this difficulty as a topic is very hard, because you really cannot say would it be totally different experience if it would be easier. So I have read a lot of this kind of discussion on it, and I have to say I always agree on both sides. So I'm like, it would be nice to have options, but maybe it would break the immersion or the intent of the creator. So
exactly,
it's really hard to tell.
Yeah, I think that is true, because the game is fundamentally designed in that way. If you had like an easy mode or whatever, it would change the game completely, wouldn't it? But you prevailed, my friend, and you beat the game. So
yeah.
What do you think about that, Puxley, out of interest, on the difficulty or in games in general? And you've played Hollow Knight, so how did you feel about that? You may be an epic gamer and didn't die once, but I know I died quite a few times in Hollow Knight, but that was part of the process again for me in a way, just learning it. But how do you feel about that?
No, I definitely died a good number of times. You make mistakes, you just can't help it. No, I think, there's definitely a place for games like that. I know there are a number of complaints about how these games aren't necessarily accessible, but I don't know, it's almost like what you guys kind of mentioned before, that if you try to make every game accessible to every degree, then the original vision is lost, because you have to make so many compromises in order to enable that accessibility. So even though I think it's great that a lot of developers try to make their games as accessible as possible, I think there are just some genres of game which you just can't really do that without giving you can't do that well enough without compromising on the original art and vision. So
yes,
it's definitely necessary. That kind of the lack of accessibility, I think, is necessary, and it's sometimes the difficulty which makes the game what it is. Like if Hollow Knight had an easy mode, for example, I don't think many people would have liked it as much.
Yeah, I agree.
Because you don't then get the opportunity to learn from the mistakes, because that's the kind of game that it is, right? You're meant to try countless times to understand the patterns and how things work, but then once you got it, that's how you master these types of games.
Absolutely.
You mentioned Ghost Runner. I haven't played the full game. I played the demo on Xbox. And I really enjoyed it, actually. It took me a bit of getting used to. I actually had to turn things like the sensitivity down on the camera controls.
Yeah, I think I did that actually. Yeah.
Pretty rapid.
Yeah. Were you using a controller out of interest?
I was playing on Xbox at the time, so I used the controller.
Maybe if you've got a mouse and keyboard and you're good with mouse and keyboard, it's probably easier. But like I use controller even on PC, so I had to turn it down a little bit.
That kind of game, I would definitely be mouse and keyboard on PC. So maybe I'll have to try, if I can get the demo on PC, I'll definitely try it again. But as you say, you kind of have to learn the swerve mechanics, all that kind of stuff in Ghost Runner, and once you get it and understand, get your fingers on what the dash button is and when to do what move and when. Again, it's all about understanding patterns, isn't it? And understanding the timing delays between shots of the enemies.
Exactly, because they do fire in a consistent way. That's a slightly like forgiving thing. If they shot in all different rhythms, that would be really hard then. But they shoot bang, 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 bang. Like that is always the same beat, so you can then time your dodges quite easily. That's a slight bone they're throwing you there, I think. Yeah,
and I think it's a good comparison, actually, as you say, between Hollow Knight and things like Ghost Runner, where they are difficult and you have to die to understand it. And again, the small segment of Ghost Runner that I played, it's very much the same concept of, there's a guy here, I've killed him. I've just got shot from my right hand side. Then you kind of, it rewinds you back to the checkpoint. You try it again. You go, right, I can see two more dudes over there. So, But then you also discover different routes you could take that I realised. And I really like that aspect, because I found myself trying one route about, 10 times, and I keep dying. And it's like, okay, let's try this right-hand route this time and do some wall running and jumping, swerve in the air kind of thing. And then, those kind of things work. And I think they definitely have their place, and I really enjoy the gameplay. I'd like to dive into the full game at some point, but I've got such a backlog and catalogue of things I'm trying to get through that I don't know when I'll get round to playing it properly, but I definitely do want to give it a good go.
Awesome, bro. Yeah, that is great. That's great takes as always, Puxley. You are brilliant, my friend. No, honestly, sorry if I gush. I just like hanging out with you, bro.
Not at all.
You're great on this show, so thank you very much. And like everyone has been today, it's been an absolute honor. Sorry if it's been, like I say, a little bit scatty, maybe my performance today. I've been a little bit all over the place, but tried to do it a little bit more flexy, sort of on the which has been good in some ways, but in some ways maybe I needed to have one or two more bullet points to my side to refer to, if you know what I mean. But anyways, guys, it's been an absolute blast all the same. And yeah, we should wind it up there. Thank you so much, everyone who's been here. Firstly, I want to say thank you so much to Luke for being a part of this show. You are a legend, my friend. I hope it wasn't, as I say, too all over the place and not concise and all that stuff, but for your high standards and all that goodness. But you have been awesome, my friend, and it's been so good hanging out with you. Definitely would love to get you back on sometime. But where can they find you to catch your awesome Xbox expansion pass podcast, even? Where can they find you, my friend?
Yeah, it throws me off sometimes too. You are too kind in your words, and you can find me on Twitter at InsipidGhost or on any podcast service for the Xbox Expansion Pass and youtube.com/the Xbox Expansion Pass. It would mean the world if you guys would check that out. On my next episode, I think tomorrow, I'm sitting down with Jeff Grubb to chat with him about just some of the latest news to go around, and that show will come out Sunday evening, Monday morning in there. And that's probably it. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome stuff, bro. Jeff Grubb on the cards. Nice. You're always getting some great guests on. Looking forward to checking that out. Yeah, don't forget those indie devs. I know you don't anyway, but I love those interviews with the smaller guys as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're really great insights always. Yeah, thanks again, Luke. It's been a blast. And moving on to Meisuko. It's been so much fun, my friend. Is this your second podcast? Am I right in saying that? Second part?
This is the third one.
Third one.
I was at Flammy's Experience and Stubcast. So
brilliant
I have
stuff.
Been, in all of the best podcasts.
Oh, he's a good one, isn't he? I like that. Very nicely done. Well, it's been such an honor to have you on, my friend. I enjoy chatting with you in the chats and DMs and all that stuff, but it's been even better to chat with you in person. Thank you so much for being a part of it. You were absolutely awesome. Where can they find you, buddy?
Yeah, so I don't have any content like you guys, but I just hang out on Twitter, so you can find me on Meisuko_1984. So
awesome.
Come and have a chat.
Definitely do so. He's a great guy and a great gamer, and I will update the description below with Meisuko's link straight to his Twitter. It was a last minute inclusion, so it's not in there at the moment, but definitely will be straight after this show. But yeah, thank you so much, Meisuko. I really had a lot of fun chatting with you today. You were awesome, so thanks for being part of it.
Thank you.
Good stuff. And yeah, moving on from there, next up, Puxley. It's been such a pleasure as always, bro. Always bringing great takes, always bringing the passion, and always have so much fun talking to you too as well, bro. So thank you so much for being part of it. Where can they find you, my friend?
Oh, you're too kind as always, Indy. Wow. No, very much appreciate having me as a member of the cast. Actually, I really enjoy talking games, especially indie games. Love being on this show. I love the format. I think you do a really good job. So thank you once again for what you've done. I know you say about the it's a bit like on news currently, isn't it? So it's a bit tough to talk too many indie games at the moment. But as you say, with the recent the soon to be shows coming up, I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about in the very near
on
future.
the other side of what was just about to happen, we'll have a lot more, won't we?
Yes. But yeah, you can find me personally on Twitter at PuxleyAR. Again, I also reside mainly as part of the Green Pass Gaming podcast, so you can find me there as well. And we have our next show tomorrow at 8 p.m. UK time. So if you'd like to hear our thoughts on general Xbox stuff there, by all means, drop in. Thank you very much.
Awesome stuff, bro. Thanks again. That is fantastic. Definitely do that, guys. And yes, this next guy has been awesome today. Definitely been a fan of his, work on the game, Green Pass Gaming as well. Like I say, an upcoming star, and I believe that even more now. And he's been awesome on today's podcast. So thanks so much for being a part of it, Scott. You rocked it. And where can they find you, bro?
Again, Indy, you are far too kind, my friend. Thank you very much, mate. If well, as Puck's mentioned, obviously we'll be on the Green Pass Game podcast tomorrow, 8 p.m. So hopefully we'll see a few guys there. But if you want to check me out on Twitter, it's at SX2 Gaming. Would be good to see you guys there. But just thank you very much for having me, Indy. Really, really appreciate you offering me a chance to chat indie games with you. And as much as anything, I've learned things today about indie games, or games that maybe I hadn't seen before. So thank you very much for that. And obviously for Meisuko and Luke, first time we've had the opportunity to speak in person. So pleasure chatting with you guys.
Awesome stuff, bro. No, that's very nicely done, and yeah, my pleasure, my friend. It's great to chat with you, and if you would be open to the idea, I'd definitely love to get you back on, as I would with everyone today. You've all been fantastic, so yeah, expect that invite in the post at some point again, I'm sure of it. But yes, guys, so as we've been talking about today, we've been talking about the Idea Xbox Showcase, and we've been talking about the Future Game Show upcoming on the 25th and 26th respectively. I will also be doing a live reaction show of both of these shows. I have a couple of people lined up so far, but I'm not entirely sure exactly of the people who are going to be on. I need to confirm those, but I will be doing those. And yeah, so the first one will be on the 25th, which is going to be at 9:30, I believe, in the UK time, that is, for the Future Games Show. So I will be diving into the live reaction, watching the show, and hopefully with you guys, if you want to drop by, we're going to watch it together and react and see what we think about it. But yeah, just to let you know, that's going to be on Wednesday, I think. Let me just double check that's the day, right? Thursday, sorry guys, that'll be on Thursday the 25th for that one, but I will upload the the kind of scheduled show in, so all you need to do is check it out on the channel and it'll be there if you wanted to book it in or whatever, the notification thing, etc. But yeah, it'd be awesome to see you guys there. It should be a fun time checking out some cool upcoming games. But yeah, thank you so much to everyone who's been here in the chat today. Literally everyone who's been here, you are all amazing. I really appreciate it. I am a bumbler, I'm a mumbler. That's why I tend to probably thrive better in a video environment where I can cut out all that crap. But I hope you bear with me today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the show. It's been so much fun, and it's always great to see such great people in. As I say, I just want to shout out a few of you guys. Dragon Wolf, awesome to see you in, bro. Psychonauts, awesome to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Flame, always a pleasure, my friend. Definitely would love to get you on the show at some point. We have talked about that a little bit. But it's always great to see you in the chat. Where are we? VJ, my friend. Yes, we did discuss Hollow Knight without you. I did ask if you wanted to ask any questions. You could have fired them our way, VJ. But don't you worry, my friend. We will be doing that Silk Song cast at some point with you in there. 100%, bro. Thanks for being here, VJ. Stubbs Gaming, thank you very much for being here, Stubbsy, bro. Really appreciate you. And Infinite, bro, thank you for being here. Dazanator, my main man. Thank you so much for being here today, brother. Smokeback Official, once again, you rock, bro. Thank you for being here. And where are we? Anyone else in the chat today? Luke, still pop by with us. A little shout out to the season. Good stuff, Luke. It was awesome to see you in. Let's see. And also we had Ains in the house. A pleasure to see you in, Ains. Thank you for dropping by, brother. Really appreciate it. And Xbox Jesus was in the house. Thank you so much for being here. And Judzilla 2, Graphic God was here too. Thank you all for being here. You all rock. So we're going to wind it up there, guys. It's been so much fun talking about indie games. It's this is definitely the place you want to be to check out those indie games, upcoming indie games. If you are a fan of indie games, you're in the right place. And feel free to hit that subscribe button if you would like to stay up to date with future videos. But yes, once again, we are done, guys. It's been a pleasure. Indies, go get your indies. Soak up your indies. And I will catch you real soon back here on the channel. Like I say, next stream will be on Thursday. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one.
See you guys.